we are time. It is time for spooktacular events here on Delve. Uh, yeah, get ready to be terrified. Get ready to be absolutely have your mind expanded and possibly blown. We don't know. Tonight's episode, by the way, is sponsored by Kaiju. Kaiju, your what's for dinner. Now, in case you're wondering how that actually works, it's kaiju are big monsters and they kind of eat people. So instead of it's what's for dinner, your what's for dinner. No one understands what I'm getting at. Anyway, we are not actually sponsored by Kaiju. They don't give the Kaiju do not give us any money. I think that that's very important that we make that clear right up at the front. I want to explain that before everybody else gets here. Because, there are going to be some people that just ask, why? Why are you, you should not be encouraging the kaiju, Nathan. You should not. We do not support kaiju. And you know what? I understand. I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. So we are not actually sponsored by kaiju. And if they did give us money, we would give it back. We would give it to a good cause. We don't want to actually be associated with the business practices of kaiju. Don't. Godzilla, not as bad as he used to be. Like, once upon a time, Godzilla, struck fear into the hearts of everyone in Japan. And now that he's more, like, American-based, more helpful, I feel, like, from the latest movies. I think he's more helpful. Mothra, good people. Mothra, good people. Yeah. Ghidorah, no. Do not support Ghidorah or his business practices. No. Rodan, on the fence. Not sure how I feel about him. I like giant fire pterodactyl. Just in general, I like giant fire pterodactyl. That I approve of. How I feel about him and his personal philosophy, don't know. Not sure how I feel about that. King Kong, jury's still out. I don't know how I feel about King Kong. I know that eventually we're going to have to choose a side. This is bound to be the Tony Stark, Steve Rogers choice all over again. Are you Team Cap? You Team Iron Man? Now we're gonna have to choose. Are you Team Godzilla? Team Kong? It's a tough one. Folks. I don't know what side to choose. On the one hand, you go back and you look at Skull Island, right? And Skull Island, Kong seemed like he was pretty good. He was very helpful. He seemed very helpful, but he did swat a few helicopters out of the sky. His hands are not clean. His gigantic hands are not all clean. But Godzilla, same thing. There was a lot of mayhem and destruction he caused. A lot of problems associated there. But at the end of the day, they also both took out big, scary monsters that were really more interested in killing people. So I don't know. I don't know how that matchup is going to go. If anybody does listen to this, I really hope that they give me a little bit of an idea of who you are rooting for. In fact, I will make sure to write it in the comments because I want people to weigh in on this when they get here. Are you Team Kong or Team Godzilla? And I will say discuss. Hello, DC. Edit this. And save. Perfect. Hello, DC. DC's shy tonight. Everyone is shy tonight. And the problem is that if they don't talk, I will just keep talking. I will not stop. They cannot stop me. I am a machine. I will continue to talk regardless.
Hello. Okay, I can hear.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I was wondering if there was a problem in audio country that people might not be able to hear me. But it looked like my connection was okay. Or at least tolerable.
Yeah, it was a Discord setting.
Oh, okay. That might do it. In fact, I will check my user settings and make sure that input sensitivity is a little bit lower, just in case. Okay, that should be helpful. So anyway, while I was alone here in my little space, in my bubble, I oh, now I don't know if I'm saying anything at all. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. I didn't see my little circle, so I was like, "Oh no." While I was sitting here in my lovely private space, I was talking about how I feel about kaiju and which ones I particularly think are good people and which I'm not as fond of. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that, but
Well, I'd be for Team Godzilla because it's Godzilla.
mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair. Um, yeah, I was weighing pros and cons because I don't know if you've seen the last movie, King of the Monsters. Um,
No, last one I saw was Shin Godzilla.
oh, okay. So it's a little ways away. Um, what they've done though with those the movies, that the first Godzilla or the newer Godzilla, 2014, and then Skull Island, and then mostly the thing that they did with King of the Monsters is they've kind of set up already. Well, they didn't kind of. They very much set up that the next movie is going to be Godzilla and Kong. Like, they made that very, very clear. It's going to be a showdown between Godzilla and Kong. Like, I'm gonna give spoilers now for anybody who doesn't want to hear spoilers about the end of the last Godzilla movie. if you care, you can put your hands in your ears and not listen. Okay, so basically at the end of the last Godzilla movie, there is a part where Godzilla wins. Just for the record, Godzilla wins. Good for him. The big showdown for him was with King Ghidorah. Which, Ghidorah apparently not of this world, not part of the natural order. They kind of make that clear. Like an alien creature. All the others were here. All the others are supposed to be here. Ghidorah, no. Ghidorah, bad. So that was the big showdown. Mothra and Rodan come into it in some places, but it's not the big show. Big show, Godzilla, Ghidorah. Godzilla takes Ghidorah out and kind of like wanders away, and everyone's like, "Thank you, Godzilla," and and then they do this whole thing in the credit scene where they're talking about, like, they show Godzilla, and there's all the other Titans, like all the other Titans have come and have bowed to him as the king of the Titans. So Godzilla is now the king of the Titans, and Rodan and a bunch of the others that were in that area all kind of bow to him. and he now kind of rules over all of the ones that are on Earth. But in the credits, they start showing news clippings, and they start doing like newsreel that basically suggests that new Titans that are coming up are now making their way to Skull Island, where King Kong is, and basically making the general conceit that Godzilla and the existing Titans are going to be coming up against King Kong, who's now seen as the king of the new Titans that are emerging. And they're going to have a big fight. And in case you couldn't figure that out, they then show one of those relief paintings where you see Kong and you see Godzilla right up against each other in their faces. So just to make it real clear that something is happening. So I see this as basically the new Cap versus Iron Man, like what team are you on scenario. Are you going to be Team Cap? You're going to be Team Iron Man. People cared about this stuff. Now I'm just thinking to myself, there is going to be I know that they're going to try to do a Team Kong or Team Godzilla. And I am really interested to know how people feel about that. I have one person for Team Godzilla.
Yeah, atomic breath all the way.
Yeah, I do have to say the atomic breath does seem like a big advantage for him over.
I mean, he's got the little arms, but he's got that powerful jaw too, and the tail.
Yeah, the tail, yeah. Yeah, and in like the new movies, like he's like radioactive, like his his spikes on his back like light up, and then this giant ball of like blue flame bursts out of his mouth. That's impressive stuff, And he's got size advantage. He's bigger than Kong. They definitely make that clear too in size comparison. Kong does not look nearly as big as Godzilla. So cuz like Godzilla, like going through the buildings in New York, he's just like as high he's just as high as all of the skyscrapers. Kong has to actually climb up the skyscraper. So he's got size advantage. So in weight classes, we have like the ultra heavyweight and just the ultra heavyweight.
And if it gets to a water fight, we've seen Godzilla swim.
Yeah, see, it's all over. If Godzilla gets Kong in the water, it's over. That's the end of that fight. Alex is here, and he's probably wondering what the hell we're talking about. Hi, Alex. Maybe Alex isn't wondering what we're talking about.
I heard Godzilla and stuff, so I just was staying quiet.
Oh. I had asked if people are Team Kong or Team Godzilla, the context of that. No, you're not.
I'm not.
You're just not. Okay. Thanks for the input.
Yep.
I was explaining to DC that after, like, at the very end of the last Godzilla movie, they basically make it clear that what they've been setting up is a battle royale, a big rumble between Kong and Godzilla. Like, that's definitely what they're going for the next movie.
Kongzilla, got it.
That's right, Kong versus Godzilla, and I really do feel like it's like going to be the Iron Man Cap thing all over again. It's
that happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be Civil War of the Kaiju.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. Yeah, it's
about that.
Good times. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I was discussing while I was all alone here. And so, but now people are here. So
Now people are here, and you can talk about things that aren't Godzilla.
yeah, I mean, I don't know why not. But anyway, hey everybody, welcome to the spookiest time of the year. Besides tax season.
No, I like tax season. I get money.
Okay, well, the spookiest time of the year for people who don't get refunds.
I don't know that anyone who listens to our show doesn't get a refund.
I do, yeah.
I assume we're all broke.
You know what? That's probably a good assumption. Let's assume everybody that listens to the show is broke. Hello everybody out there who's broke. We feel your pain. So it is indeed the spookiest time of the year then. Unless you can think of another one.
The day right after Thanksgiving when you work in retail. Woo!
Black Friday when I work in retail. Yeah,
Yep.
that was not fun.
Yep.
Nope, not at all. Of course, I was actually you work at a store that I'm sure gets inundated on Black Friday.
Thankfully they've stopped that whole midnight rush thing.
Good.
And they spread it out over the day so that there's
Ah.
not people getting trampled to death.
That's probably smart. I'm sure that's a bad look for them.
I mean, overall retail, that's a bad look.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go to your store and get trampled to death.
There's also a lot of
over.
yeah. There's a lot of stores. There's a lot of stores that actually just are open on Thanksgiving now.
I mean, I think that's not okay.
No, I don't like that. Please don't do that. Just let people have the damn day off. Yeah, because then Black Friday sales start on Thursday. And that makes no sense whatsoever. Just saying it right now. You cannot have Black Friday sales on a Thursday. That doesn't work.
I mean, you can, but then they're just mislabeled.
Yeah, you might as well just call it like kind of like pre-Black Friday, which we call Thursday. It's Thursday sales.
It's mildly gray Thursday.
It's mildly gray Thursday. The funny thing is, and they started to do it like people would come in later in the day and they'd start the deals at like 6 o'clock Thursday night. I, however, worked at a place that actually didn't open until 6 a.m. on Black Friday. And I don't think we had doorbuster deals, but apparently our doorbuster deals were not really as good as some of the other places. Because, like, when we opened our doors, like, a few people were there, and they came into the store.
Yeah, you didn't have giant lines of people.
No, like, a few people casually meandered in at 6 in the morning.
Two people came by, and they're like, oh, hey, you're open.
Yep. Here, and oh, hey, people are here. Great. Glad to see everyone. Yeah, and it is kind of a letdown too when you have all the cashiers, like you have 6 lines open. You have everybody manned. You have like all the stockers. They've been working all night. You have a ton of people on the floor. You've front loaded the whole thing, figuring that 6 o'clock doors are gonna open. Everyone's gonna rush in. This is gonna be a madhouse. And 3 people wander in, and you're just looking outside and just like, well, we're gonna be bored for a while. No one's here. Uh-oh. But you know what? That's a discussion for November.
Yeah, we're in the wrong month. We're in the Spooktober.
We're in Spooktober.
Spoopy time.
We're in we're in Spooptown. We're in Spooptown, USA. And hey, you know what? To start us off, I'm actually going to talk about one of the scariest things there is, corporate synergy, Alex.
I thought you were going to go back to taxes.
No. corporate synergy. Ooh, scary.
Okay.
Well, because I think it's worth talking a little bit about this. I think DC actually brought both of these things to our attention, but we've had a few things that happened in the last month or so of some like chain restaurants that got into the game space, and generally, I guess, went over okay, but did not come without a little bit of fallout. But the first one would be KFC came out with a dating sim where you could date the Colonel, and I don't know why that was a thing people wanted to do. But hey, if you ever wanted to, if you saw Colonel Sanders and thought totally my type, good news. They made a dating sim for you. It's like they took Dream Daddy and they said, but what about if it was finger licking good? Think about it that way.
Oh Jesus!
If
I don't think you want that phrase tagged on that game.
I think that was actually the phrasing that they used, Alex.
Well,
I literally think that was in the promotions.
Well then. See, I would think Wendy's would have done a dating sim for Wendy. Because then you get all those people who are going to be like, oh, a cute redhead. I want to date a cute redhead.
I mean, out of all the mascots, you might think that might work a little bit better.
Depends on your demographic, but I assume the people playing the dating sims are probably not the girls. I don't really know.
Maybe, but even if it was the Colonel, I mean, I understand that if your options are like Colonel Sanders, Ronald McDonald, or the Burger King.
The King. I think the King might take it away.
Because he's rich?
Because he's ridiculous.
I mean, I understand some people marry for money, but it's just, I don't know.
What about you got the Chihuahua from Taco Bell?
From Taco Bell? Is the Chihuahua still working for Taco Bell?
No.
No.
Died years ago.
Well, yeah, they could get another Chihuahua, but I think they kind of they moved away from Chihuahua advertising for Taco Bell. I don't know if it was that the talking dog was a thing, or maybe Chihuahuas just got too big for them, they got famous, and they were like, I don't get out of my tiny bed for under $1 million or something. I could see that. It was probably Paris Hilton's dog.
Oh,
and
maybe, I don't know.
It might have been.
Anyways, so the other thing there too, not even just fast food restaurants, I believe the company Old Spice.
Oh yeah. Old Spice.
With Terry Crews, they had the D&D class, I think it was.
They had the Old Spice Gentleman class.
Yeah.
That you could.
So it's not new for these bigger companies to try and get in on this. I mean, have you seen, what is it, Arby's, with those commercials they've got?
No.
Or those ads on Instagram with the anime and stuff?
No. No, I have not. I have not seen that.
DC, you know what I'm talking about?
The what? I'm sorry.
I think Arby's ads with anime stuff.
I must look this up.
I think it's Arby's.
Maybe.
Sorry, I was checking to make sure I knew this weird thing about the Taco Bell Chihuahua. And I do.
we do need to know. You are not wrong, Alex.
Here, this is a thing. This is a fantastic thing.
The anime inspired.
Here's a great one.
Yeah.
It's Arby's favorite neighbor. Which
It's
is great because Miyazaki is great. And then
it's Totoro. Hi, Totoro. Okay.
Totoro's fantastic. Everyone loves Totoro.
Yeah. It's like Snorlax, but
this is stuff they've been doing too.
Yeah.
and this is just for their ads. It's not a game, but it's very in that geekdom
Yeah,
area of things.
yeah.
Um,
You know that
well,
we've.
like Old Spice has been there for years with that.
Oh
Here's
yeah,
another one. Here's a great one.
yeah.
It's unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's Gohan or Vegeta.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it's something Dragon Ball related, and
It's Dragon Ball.
it has.
Here's a really fun one. Just
What are those?
'cause,
Are those
again,
hash
it's a
browns
great
that they're
show.
using for the hair?
I think it's mozzarella sticks. Or
I
something.
I have
Here's
not. Oh God.
This one works. This one works because Aku is a shapeshifting master of darkness, so he could totally be
Yes.
a curly
Yeah.
fry box.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Samurai Jack. That works. That works.
Yeah,
Somebody
there's a
thought
whole
this through.
slew of ads they've done.
Yeah.
This entire ad campaign they've done with
Mhm.
anime characters and that stuff. It's
Yeah.
like here's one with a Gundam, and it's just ridiculous and really great at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like the nerd space, the geek space is ripe for places to advertise for things.
And it is apparently you know that we've arrived when we're commercially viable to the mainstream. Because
But
we
I
buy
mean, we
things.
should be anyways.
We buy
do.
things.
We buy a lot of things.
Yeah, and but the thing about it is that like we talk about that and Wendy's, since we were just mentioning that they had the tabletop RPG, the Feast of Legends that had just come out, I mean, and a part of me, I think that like as far as advertising goes, kind of makes sense because what's gonna happen? You make a dating sim. Twitch streamers, a whole bunch of people are gonna play it. You basically get earned media just from that. Yeah, you got a tabletop RPG. We already saw like they played it on Critical Role. They there's great advertising for you, right away. Is that like it's hard to deny. You're gonna have people that play it. You're gonna have people that like are seeing other people play it, and you get earned media. I'm just kind of surprised because it ain't easy to put that together. Like,
I mean, in reality, yes and no. It was kind of just like a 5e hack.
Okay.
From everything I was looking at it, like I didn't do a review. I kind of just skimmed it, but
Oh yeah.
everything in there is pretty much like a 5e hack.
Okay.
Super simple, but you still have to make the campaign, so they obviously did the work on that.
Right.
In the classes, even those you have to do the work on, even if the system is still just a 5e hack, you still have to make all the other stuff. So it's not like they I don't think they designed do that for a free game. Kudos if they did.
Right.
Yes, the Old Spice gentleman.
Yeah, that's the gentleman.
The game system itself is not that bad. I read through it and I'm like, oh.
I found a lack of balance with the characters' skills, on the fact that they're all at will skills.
Oh, okay.
Except for the ones that you like can only use once per between meals. It's like, oh, you can do that one ability and you can just spam it over and over again. It's like they're all cantrips. It's like, okay, well,
You can.
yes, that's a little broken, but okay.
Wait, you have to eat between meals in the Wendy's.
That's your resting mechanic is
You
have to
sit down
and have a meal.
to well, actually that kind of makes sense. That tracks. I'm gonna give him that.
But yeah, if you read through DC, did you see that kind of as an issue as well, just with like balance for skill usage?
Well, if I was of the opinion of if everyone can do that, then it's fine because everyone can do it, even the bad guys. So
Yeah. So you got your GM just going, so this bad guy's just gonna spam his most powerful move at you.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I had not gotten a chance to read through it because a part of me was like, this seems ridiculous. I
Almost like Rift Hunters. Wait a second.
don't you dare. That was actually based on a system that was. I mean, I had to make the monsters. I had to like make the monsters from scratch. But the system was an existing system. That's a little bit different. I mean, but hey, if I knew that I could have a cross promotional with Wendy's, I could have totally made a campaign around that. That would have been a great Rift Hunters episode. Well, this little girl with pigtails has a quest for you, Rift Hunters. Enjoy. You must find the flavor maker. It's the MacGuffin of the week. Yeah, I can totally get behind that. I'm willing to shell out for corporate sponsorship if that's what it means.
I mean,
yeah.
Didn't Critical Role get a bunch of flack for that? I'm not sure exactly what. DC, do you know the reasons they got flack for being sponsored for it?
Yeah, there are some people who are offended by Wendy's business practices, and one of the big ones had to do with a farmers group and something about buying tomatoes, and they were buying Wendy's buys tomatoes like through Mexico, and it's not paying the farmers well enough, and Wendy says, well, we're paying the distributor who already pays the farmers. And people are like, well, no, that's not how that works. So there's kind of your two sides going in it.
Yeah.
So people are getting mad that Wendy's buys their tomatoes from a distributor that doesn't pay the farmers very well. So people who I assume the people who are upset about this are going to local farmers markets and paying top dollar for their food then.
No, all the other fast food places like Burger King and that have gone to this other supplier who apparently treats farmers fairly and everything like that. And Wendy's was the only one who did not do that. And so there's also pushback from there, like, hey, look at these guys. They're kind of doing the right thing by supporting more American farmers, where you're outsourcing and paying lower wages, and there is some slave labor debate in there too.
Yeah. I guess the thing that I get to is like it's if you're going to say, okay, I'm walking away from advertising with people that I find ethically problematic, you really can't be sponsored by many people. Like there's gonna be a real dearth of the amount of companies that you can work with. Because even when people get like outraged at a company, it's usually not the worst thing that company has done. Like people were super angry about Nike just because they used like Kaepernick in their advertising campaigns, but they totally glossed over like the sweatshop stuff. Like it's like that. Well, that's fine, but how could they use this person? It's like, guys, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's really hard to like I understand that there are people that have problems with business practices, but it's like at a certain point, I can't tell you that like it's nice that the other fast food restaurants are using that new distributor that's more ethically fair, but at the same time, they're a lot of them don't exactly have their hands clean when it comes to business practices. You know, it's like there's some questionable stuff that they do too, and how they source their food, and you know, how the ranches are taken care of, and like so. I mean, I don't know. It feels like you go down that road, and you're gonna end up with a whole lot of stumbling blocks to figure out who you can get sponsored by. That's why we're sponsored by Kaiju, locally farming people from
cities everywhere,
breaking cities equally across the globe, and just for the record, eating locally sourced humans. Free range. Free range humans for the Kaiju. they're doing God's work.
See, if I were to get mad at Critical Role
There we go.
for like anything to do with a sponsorship deal,
Thank
I
you.
probably would have gotten mad at Wendy's for taking a sponsorship deal when they just have a Kickstarter that raised like millions of dollars.
Well, Critical Role did, yeah.
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 I mean, if I was gonna get mad at them for anything like that, I'd be like, wait, why do you need a sponsorship deal for this with the company?
Well, because that campaign was specifically for
Or
the
sorry,
animated series, not for...
all of that money is going to the
Yes, it
animation.
is.
Obviously, there's going to be
Yep.
every single dime.
Yep. That's how
Yep.
it works. Because what they did is
Uh,
that they were going to do an animated special. With the amount of money that they raised, they ended up saying, okay, well, we can do a better job with the animation, and then we can also expand this out to episodes until we use up all the money that we were given. So instead of like one special, it ends up being probably 10, 12, 14, something like that, individual pieces for an episodic series that they're building.
Yeah, it's going to be 10 episodes. It's going to cover
10.
one story arc of the previous campaign.
The creepiest campaign. The best campaign. But yeah, if they had just gotten funded for like what they were asking for, they were planning on doing just one animated special, standalone.
Okay. No, my point was.
And then, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. My point was typically that even if you're on a Kickstarter, there needs to be some sort of profit margin there. Otherwise, you're not making any money on it. You're just making the net margin of what you need to produce the thing.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of
Um,
people that are probably getting paid for the project itself. That's like inherently in it.
But yeah, it's otherwise a net balance of not making money on a project doesn't encourage people to
Right.
make projects.
Right. I think it's mostly just trying to keep separate the fact that like the animated project that they're working on is different than the like the cost of the show itself, which is that's a little bit different. So I do know that like Critical Role, because I don't really watch Critical Role on a regular basis, but I do know that every episode they do have some sponsorship. They do usually from smaller companies like internet companies, that kind of thing that you usually see for podcasts and stuff like that. But that they do get sponsorship because, well, you know, they're a big outlet. They have a lot of eyes on them, and they do need to get some kind of income on a regular basis to make sure, because they do a high production value in order to make those shows for like 4 hours of content a week. That's a lot.
And the donated it to a farmers nonprofit.
Yeah. So that's nice. That
Which
they
is
did.
good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that they did that. That's the proper response when you end up with with a problem like that. Yeah. That's how I feel every day. Wait, you guys are getting paid? Yeah.
That's me anytime I look at podcasts that make money.
That must be nice. I've heard things about podcasts that make money. How'd you do that? One day I'll have a guest on that's like that does a podcast that makes money, and I'll go, "Hey, how'd that work? How'd that work out?" Because we've attempted it. Yeah, tried. So anyway, yeah, the spookiest thing of the season, I think, is corporate synergy in gaming. Because Lord knows, if the crew here had their way, I would be running a Wendy's game and playing to see if I could win Colonel Sanders' heart. And oh darn, I don't have the system for that.
Is it not on a Mac?
Nope. What I'd have to do, Alex, I'd have to come over to your house and play it there on your computer.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not okay. I don't need that on my computer.
No, you definitely need it on your computer. In fact, you know what we could do, Alex? You could just play it on air, and then I can sit back and watch all the fun. It will be.
I'm immensely less entertaining.
Well,
I feel
yeah.
there's a reason I haven't really streamed gaming, and I feel I'm boring as hell. I typically am on my phone half the time.
Mm.
And reply to this message right now, because if someone messaged me, I message them back pretty much right away.
Right. Right. I see that. Hold on.
So like, I'll be playing World of Warcraft, and I'll just be like, "Cool, I'm doing something. Oh, I want to fight." I'll tab out, and I'll just like browse Facebook for 5 minutes. Oh, my flight's back. Okay, cool. I'll go game some more.
Right. Right. Uh, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna reconnect my network for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, Nathan's breaking the show.
No, it's just because it keeps telling me that I'm technically disconnected even though I'm talking to you, and I'm like, I think that's probably causing some ping back problems. But I can solve it real fast. Just watch how fast I can solve it. Wait for it. There, I'm back.
Oh no, Nathan died.
Nope, I'm back. And
What?
then as soon
Who's
as I
there?
do
Is Todd
that,
there?
I'm full bars connected. For some reason, that just I don't know why that happens, but because I was hearing you break up a little bit, and I was like, I bet that's a damn it. It's back to saying I'm disconnected. This thing this thing hates me every single freaking time. But that's okay. Oh no, now I'm back. The spookiest
there
thing.
it is.
The spookiest thing of the season is randomly getting disconnected from calls. You've been disconnected. That's got to be the next horror thriller. Disconnected. And it's just all about Discord. I'm scared already. So, anyway, but let's talk a little bit about actually spooky things. Vampires.
Spooky, scare like skeletons.
Skeletons. Skeletons are good. Yeah, we could talk about
The
skeletons. Werewolf.
The spookiest thing of the season is that it's been 5 days into October, and our memes is nothing but skeleton memes already.
Well, what did you expect? What memes would you prefer?
Not the same one 500 times in a row.
But you see, Alex, that's kind of how memes work. If you don't have a meme that turns 500 times, it's not really a meme, is it? A meme suggests mimetic thought. And so you have to have it repeated or reiterated upon in many, many different ways. What's the skeleton meme that's going around?
Just there's one.
Just something skeleton?
Although this one I'm looking at. This one's terrible. And I want to share it, but I don't think I should share it on the channel.
For the record, there's plenty of homebrewed D&D 5e skeletons that you could put into your game. Including
this one's
Minotaur skeleton.
It's great.
I love a Minotaur skeleton every single time. Ooh, what is this? That's Morg.
I don't know.
Morg from Org. No, I just started to think to myself, wouldn't it be great if the Old Spice gentleman, but it was a skeleton for the season? Just the Old Spice skeleton? That would be great. I'd play that.
Well done.
I play that as a class every single time. Minotaur skeleton. Oh, man. I want to play a Minotaur skeleton now so bad. How can I not? Oh, it's from Eberron. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Alex is finding a skeleton.
Let's see if that worked. No, of course it did. Hold on.
Everyone's finding stuff.
All the things.
Here I was just like looking up what spooky tabletop games people like to play.
People like to play games?
People often like to play games. I was actually like sitting here thinking to myself, hey, maybe I could look up some famous like tabletop games that are spooky for the season, and maybe one of the designers of those games might want to come on the show, but I think I'm a little late to the party at this point. just because of how late into the season. I think the people that I contacted already are pretty much the people that that are either going to come or not. But you know what was funny, Alex?
There we
What's
go.
that?
So I was looking up one game, and I was sitting here thinking to myself, oh, we actually might have a contact there. But you remember back in the day, once upon a time, oh, Kermit Loft. Oh, that's beautiful. That's I can picture Kermit as a vampire. And oh, Animals is holding his cape. I like that. You remember when we had Jeff Tidball on the show?
Yes.
Yes. And he's the creative director for Atlas Games.
Yes.
Yes. And you know what game Atlas publishes?
Sure.
Well, I mean, they publish a lot of games, but the one that came to my mind, Gloom. They publish Gloom.
Okay.
And Gloom is a really fun idea for a game. If you have not heard of it, and it usually shows up on a lot of the spooktacular lists for this time of year for tabletop games. But it's a card game, and the objective as they lay it out is that it's 2 to 4 players. Each are given control of an eccentric family. The object of the game is to lower the self-worth points of the player's own family with cards that cause negative effects, eventually killing them. And at the same time, positive points are played on opponents' family members. After one family is completely killed off, the player with the lowest family value, the total points of all dead family members, is the winner of the game. So, if you wanted to play a game where you're basically the Addams family, Gloom.
I believe I have seen stuff.
Yes.
I have not played Gloom.
Yes. And fun fact, they did play this on tabletop. And fun fact, in 2013, they had a limited number of the Tabletop Gloom promo expansion, and it included 2 unwanted guests. And those unwanted guests were Will Wheaton and Felicia Day. And I bet Will Wheaton was used far more as an unwanted guest between the two.
Who was the other one?
Felicia Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felicia Day would be a
Please
welcome
tabletop.
guest for me. I'd be like, oh my god, Felicia Day's here. Will Wheaton, I'm like, not sure.
Will Wheaton, what are you doing here?
Will Wheaton, what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out, Will Wheaton.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of missed the show Tabletop.
Oh, I totally
enjoyed it.
missed the show Tabletop. Are you kidding? I watched every freaking episode of Tabletop. Watched every episode. That was so good. I really wish, like, even if Tabletop can't come back, I really wish there was, like, something to replace it. Like, that there was a show where people would sit around and they could get, like, some famous people in tabletop gaming that come around and play a different game every week. That would be great. I don't know who's going to do it.
Not us.
Not us. That's all I know. It ain't gonna be us. But you know what? If somebody's out there, I'm telling you, that would be really good. We have a lot of people that do live plays for RPGs, but to sit around for tabletop, like board games, card games, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's fun stuff. Other games that, of course, usually make the list are like Fury of Dracula, which I think they also played on tabletop. One person's Dracula, everybody else has to find him and kill him.
Isn't that the same thing as like Secret Hitler and Werewolf and all that stuff?
Where you have the one hidden player.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's similar to that. But with Dracula in this particular case.
I mean, because werewolves weren't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Then there was another one that I've seen it around, but I have not actually gotten to play it, and it's called Nyctophobia. And that's kind of like you can imagine like a slasher film, but in a board game where you have like one, like the psycho killer character, and then everybody else. So it's a one versus many game, where the one like Jason Voorhees kind of character has to go around and try and off all the other characters.
So it's Dead by Daylight.
Sort of like Dead
So
by Daylight,
the-
yeah, but as a
except tabletop game.
Yep, except a tabletop game. Yep.
Got you.
Yep. Or any of those one versus everybody else games.
Yeah.
Can't remember what the other ones were, but yeah, kind of like Dead by Day or Friday the 13th. That was another one. That although I don't know, out of the two, if I was playing one of them, I'd probably go for Dead by Daylight because I think Jason is even one of the killers that you can use for that game. And
I think so.
And then they like added so many others that were great for that. I think they actually had one that was just like pissed off Santa Claus. Like I can't remember what. I have to actually look like I can look it up. But the Dead by Daylight killers. The Scream Ghost. That's right. The Scream Ghost was
Did
in
you
it.
ever actually kill anyone? How about Jigsaw? Can I be Jigsaw?
I think so. All I have to do is just look up the happy thing here, and the happy thing will tell me. Okay, so they are basically saying that they're using best to worst. Okay, great. Best to worst. The best apparently is the nurse. Okay, the hag. Hillbilly. Oh, hillbillies are always terrifying. Which ones are... Okay, Huntress. Shape. Michael Myers' power. Okay. So that's... Okay, so Michael Myers. Michael Myers is in it.
His power is his power being groovy, or is that just Austin Powers?
That's Austin Powers. Not the same Mike... No, not Mike Myers. Michael Myers.
Didn't Mike Myers play Michael Myers?
If so, wouldn't that be an amazing fact? No, it was
Or
different.
is that just a robot chicken sketch?
That's a robot chicken sketch. Sorry, that is not the thing. Leatherface. Leatherface is in that game.
Who?
Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, does he use a chainsaw?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Then of course Ghostface from Scream.
You mentioned that.
Yep. A sad clown. So there's
A
something.
sad clown.
There's a sad clown.
Could they not license the name Pennywise?
Probably not. No. They probably didn't do that. Let's see. Wraith. It kind of looks familiar, but I don't think. Oh, yeah. Freddy Krueger is. But I love the fact that they say that Freddy Krueger is arguably the worst killer in Dead by Daylight. They put him like near the bottom of this list of the worst characters. His special power is Dream Demon. He needs to pull characters into a dream before being able to damage them.
Couldn't we just call him Dreamin'? Not
Dream Demon?
Just call it Dreamin'.
Just call it Dreamin'.
Just shorten it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What are you? I'm a dreamin'. A dreamin'? You're sleeping? No, I'm a dream demon. But we shortened it and called it a dreamin' because it sounds cooler. And then they slaughter you in your dream.
Yeah.
You know what they should add in there is a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty cool. I sir. And they do also have the Spirit, which I believe is inspired by like that ghost from The Grudge, like from the way she looks and everything.
Oh boy.
So I mean, I guess that's a thing. A lot of them are ones that they made for the game specifically, though. Like, they do say that best character, according to PC Games, at least, Nurse, Sally Smithson, aka the Nurse. So if you're playing that game, maybe try to get used to playing her. She wears a bag over her head. Don't know why.
That's because
Don't
if she
care.
pulls a bag off her face, then you'll be terrified and die.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That makes perfect sense. I like that. To the player sabotage. Yeah. I don't know why I'm even bothering looking at this because I'm never going to play Dead by Daylight, so it never interested me. I never cared about it. The only reason I may end up playing Friday the 13th is because I think I get it free for my Xbox Gold account for
There you
the
go.
month. It's one of the games for October is you can play Friday the 13th. But if I do, I'm totally just playing Jason. I'm not playing the survivors trying to get away from Jason. I'm just going to play Jason and see. And sorry, I'm gonna find a way to take you all out, folks. I'm gonna do it. The funny thing is though, if you watch some video of Friday the 13th as the game, it's actually pretty easy to knock Jason down in the game. Jason comes right up to you, and you could air kick him onto the ground. You could do some pretty amazing things to him. He's not nearly as invulnerable as you might think from the movies.
Well, I imagine the game design probably isn't the best.
That, or they just didn't want it to feel like he was too invulnerable to any kind of damage. Like maybe the players had a chance. But I think the idea is
No.
that, now he's really he's really not hard to defeat in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's not horror if the villain-esque monster creature thing is not invulnerable. It's just kind of creepy. It's horror when you can't do anything to defend yourself from them.
Right.
It's oh god, it's inevitable.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever seen any of the Friday the 13th movies.
I don't know.
No, I think I saw one on television one time because it happened to be on, and I sat there and I thought to myself, "This isn't scary. These people are stupid," and I don't know why. I can't remember which one it was. There was an actress, and I recognized her, and I was like, "Oh, she was in this?" Because it seems like a lot of actors and actresses, when they were younger, they were in these movies, and then they got big afterward. It's the Johnny Depp thing. I got killed by Freddy before I was really big. But anyway, there's a whole scene where she's trying to hide from Jason, and she decides to hide in one of those little cargo compartments in a boat. I don't know why. And he finds with the fishing spear that's at the boat, and he opens the hatch, and she screams, and she must have sat there screaming for a good minute and a half while Jason just kind of looks at her and then just kind of pokes her once and she's dead. And I sat there and thought, you could have probably gotten away while he was staring at you. You had ample opportunity. And then later, this one kid ended up on the top of a building, and Jason came up to him, and he thought, okay, I got the solution to this. And he tries to punch Jason in the face. And that didn't work. And then Jason punched him in the face so hard, his head popped off. And went way off the building. And you know what? After that, I was like, these people are stupid. Why do I care? I've seen so many people just do stupid things in horror movies to not care anymore. Just don't. Sorry,
Sounds about right.
dead fictional characters.
I think there was a Because Science video he did about how much force you'd have to use to actually knock someone's head off or rip someone's head off.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a whole hell of a lot. With a tearing or with a punching motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well more than any human can ever hope to achieve.
And let's just get honest for a second. If something used enough force to take your head off of your body, chances are your head's not very well intact. In this,
No, it's
Yeah.
pretty well smooshed at that part.
yeah. However, in this particular movie, not only was it perfectly intact, but it was perfectly intact not only after the punching his head off part, but also the falling off a skyscraper part. And it lands on the ground at somebody else's feet so that they can identify the body, the head of the body, and say, oh yeah, that's Carl. And then say, oh no, I see Jason up there. I better walk away.
So that not only was the head intact from the punch, head was intact from the fall from a skyscraper. How
Yeah.
tall was this building, probably?
Oh, it was probably a good 10, 12 stories. It looked like it was
How would
probably
it-
10 stories.
How is the person on the ground also then seeing Jason at the top of this building?
because it's just so well lit in the middle of the night. Maybe
Because they can see 10 stories up and see just the hockey mask guys.
I'm trying to
looking down
remember
upon
the
them.
movie. It might have only been like 5, but I don't know. I feel like it was taller than that. But regardless, I just the physics of it don't really work. Of course, I guess I shouldn't be looking for physics from a horror movie. Probably gonna be.
I mean, if you want it to be realistic horror, sure, that might work.
Yeah. I mean, do I want it to be realistic horror?
No, if you want realistic horror, you go on a subreddit that will scar you for life.
Yeah, no, don't go. No, there are some places on Reddit you shouldn't go, folks. No, what you do is you watch the movies where there's a viral outbreak. That's probably the more realistic, scary thing, because that might
Probably.
happen. Yeah.
We'll just go watch I Am Legend again.
No, no, don't go watching that for accuracy. No.
I didn't say for accuracy.
Okay. You can. Here's what you do: is you just go play Last of Us, because you never know. A fungus could infect us. That
Hmm.
you never know. Did you ever play Last of Us? I can't remember.
No,
No?
I don't play a lot of AAA titles.
That's too bad. Last of Us was a great story. Because it came from Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog has a great record. But the storyline, the actual world building that they did for The Last of Us was that, oh God, what was it called? Basically a mutated strain of cordyceps, the cordyceps fungus, was able to infect people. And so it started to drive them insane and basically turn them into a living fungus by the end. But they went totally mad and insane and started to just rapidly attack people. So there's spore clouds in this area. You have to keep your face covered so that you don't end up getting the new human-based version of cordyceps. For those of you who are not familiar with cordyceps, basically it is an actual fungal growth.
I'm familiar with them.
I know,
They're
but
the ones
just
that
in case.
take over ants.
Yeah, they take over the ants and make the ants climb to a really high point, at which point the ant dies and the fungus can grow out the top of its head so it can release its spores for other ants. It's considered like the zombie fungus, basically, because it takes over your
It'll
brain.
eat you all. You know, if you wanted something really spooky, you could probably take and adapt the cordyceps for D&D by turning them into a form of the myconids.
Yeah, you could do that. I bet that
Then
would be
you'd
interesting.
have myconids in D&D that were releasing spores that make people really aggressive and grow spores from their dead bodies.
Great. Let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
you're welcome.
Yeah. I want
welcome.
a whole thing where the party slowly but surely just turns into myconids because of like the cordyceps virus outbreak. That would be something. That would be great.
The entire town has been taken over, and there's just mushrooms growing everywhere, but no people.
Yeah. Should totally do that. No,
Fun fact: you can do that in the feast of whatever the hell the Wendy's game is called.
Yeah, Feast of
Because
Legends.
then you just get mushrooms, and that's how you acquire your mushrooms for your sandwiches.
Oh, hey, yeah, you just take out the
I'm bringing it back around. Yeah.
Bring it back around. Yeah, excellent. No, you would.
Here's a really quick question:
Yeah.
Do people in the games of D&D get mushrooms from actual fungus, or do they get it from living fungus, like mobile fungus?
I'm not the person to ask about that. DC might know.
I don't know. I would ask Jeremy Crawford on Twitter because, he answers those kind of things. Or Chris Perkins.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd be, whatever your ethics dictate. Like, if you can kill a thing and get a tasty mushroom out of it and it's, kind of alive and you're okay with that, then if that's your joy, go for it. But, if you need mushrooms the regular way, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you would get a lot of mushroom stock from one myconid.
It's true. But now I have a question. If it's from a myconid, is it actually vegetarian? Because
it's not an animal, Nathan. It's a plant. It's
not
not even a plant. It's a fungus.
Yeah, but if it's like a walking entity,
I mean, Nathan, then we need to get into the whole debate of if you're vegetarian, can you eat bacteria?
Well, I mean, you could get into the debate of if you're vegetarian, can you actually technically eat anything? Because if you're vegan, especially if you're vegan, can you technically eat anything? Because everything's going to have some measure of like insect parts and pieces and such in it.
Yeah, true.
And
that's true.
That's meat.
The question becomes, vegetarians don't eat animals.
Right.
But it's not an animal, it's a fungus.
Okay.
So then in D&D and other fantasy games like this, with all these fantastical monsters,
right.
Are you willing to eat creatures that are alive and somewhat intelligent, not just plants or unintelligent animals?
Right.
Also, mechanids are lawful neutral, so maybe if you're an evil party, you're gonna go after them, but
what if they smell really good?
Good aligned party, probably not so much.
What if they smell really good?
They might. Hey, I love mushrooms. I'm just saying.
What if I just accidentally spilled this teriyaki sauce on the top of the myconid?
Oh man, you smell really good. You accidentally knock one to a fire, and it's like, oh wait, now I guess we might as well eat it.
The thing is that that the mage would be like, cast fireball. Oh wow, this smells great. You can.
I feel like there needs to be a class now. It's just a wizard that knows that takes profession cooking. He's just called the gourmand.
Well,
it's just like, I like to roast things. How do you like to roast them? With fireball.
I've got something for you. Because if you listen to the Adventure Zone when they did the balance arc, Justin played a wizard. His name was Taco, and his backstory was that he used to have a cooking show called Sizzling Up with Taco, and so something that he actually did was cook. That was his backstory, is that he used to be Taco from TV, and he had Sizzle It Up with Taco. So he was a wizard that specialized in cooking. It is already a thing. Congratulations.
Well damn. Did he cook with myconids, though?
I don't think that ever became part of one of a story.
It's a very exotic recipe, Nathan.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's the thing that's just really weird for me is the idea that I might have to hunt down a mushroom, like actively pursue a mushroom into the forest in order to trap and
I mean, I think they live underground.
do they? Do they? I thought
I
myconids
think
lived.
so.
Oh, do they live like in tunnels? Myconids
Caves,
won't be.
tunnels, underground. I think.
Oh, okay. Then I have to rummage around. Do I need to get one of my little truffle pigs in order to find the myconids?
You know, those might help.
Yeah, probably
might
do.
help.
Okay, so the first step here in our wonderful D&D myconid racket is you find the truffle pigs, you buy those, you raise them, you train them to love the smell of myconids. Then you head out into the forest, you find a nest, you dig them up, you make sure you have a wizard that has a fireball spell. You burn them up so they're already pre-sizzled, and then you sell them for profit. Step 3, profit. Perfect. You make a lot of
Step
money.
4, crimes against humanity.
Step 4, you get taken to court, because there
By a
are
mushroom.
myconids that are like, hey, that's not cool. Don't do that, please. In our eyes, that feels like cannibalism. We don't like that. Please don't do it.
I mean, they're not eating each other.
Well, from their perspective, yeah, that's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? It's you're eating us and we don't like it. It's
the stop. We're intelligent.
we're an intelligent creature. That bodes some very strange ethical questions. That if you had a plant, but the plant is sentient and somewhat intelligent, would eating a plant be
What happens
unethical?
what happens if I bite them with a vampire?
You're not going to be a very happy vampire. I don't think you're getting much out of it.
Oh, I mean, can you give a creature like that vampirism?
Oh, you want to become? Oh, you want to create a vampire?
A vampire mushroom.
A vampire mushroom. Okay. See, I thought you meant, what if a vampire tried to suck the
Tries to
blood
suck the blood
of a
no, that wouldn't
myconid,
work. They don't have blood.
and
No.
you can only
I wanna give
imagine
them vampirism.
the vampire walks away from that very disappointed. Very disappointed. It tastes like shiitake. That would definitely be. This tastes like shiitake. Tonight I'm going to suck your blood. Yeah, I don't know what can actually get that brings up a very not a good point, but a strange point about what creatures can actually get vampirism and which ones can get lycanthropy.
Yes.
Yes. All the creatures. Well, you can have...
Anything you want to. It's a game. Go for it.
Cool. I'm gonna do it. You know what? I can totally see
No.
were mushroom. I want were mushroom. That's perfect.
You want to wear a mushroom?
In the light of the full moon, I turn into a myconid, a were myconid.
Oh gosh.
Yes, and I.
All right. Well, here's a problem with that. If they live underground and in caves, when are they ever gonna see full moons?
Well, because most of the time I'm human, so I don't turn into a mushroom until the full moon's out.
Oh, okay.
And then I need to go underground. See? And then once
when you wake up, you're just gently covered in soil.
Yeah, exactly. I wake up in the middle of the night like, what have I done?
I sat in soil.
I'm a monster.
Oh, I've gone and soiled myself.
Literally, I'm just all soil. I don't know what the benefit would be for that. Because I could see,
There'd be spores everywhere.
Yeah, there'd be spores everywhere.
The benefit of that wouldn't be for you. It'd be the benefit for the myconids because you would just end up sporing everywhere.
Yeah.
When you transform and just helping spread their colonies.
Can you imagine if you were like a were mushroom, right? and then you wake up and you're just sitting in a pile of dirt, but you're spooning a myconid who's just like, oh, that was so lovely, all the spores. You just slung off all the spores. That would be an awkward. That would be a walk of shame to end all walk of shames. Don't let this happen to you, kids. Stay away from rabid mushrooms that walk and wander the forest. Don't let it happen. So, probably not that. Probably not that. Could a treant be a were-treant? Could I be a were-treant?
How are they gonna attack? How are they going to like?
They may not.
Pass it to you.
They may not bite
You have to
me.
drink the sap from a treant or something.
No, this is how they do it. Like poison ivy, there's an oil on the leaves, and it makes contact with your skin, and it passes along like the treant DNA into the chemicals into your bloodstream.
I think you meant to call it the TreeNA.
TreeNA, yeah. 23andMe, your free TreeNA test. Which trees are you actually related to? Oh, I'm related to an Asiatic pear. I didn't know that. So the thing about it is, that's a terrible idea. No one tried that. No one tried to do a DNA test for trees. Also, I think that the oil thing is probably the most direct way that plants interact with humans, like to pass along stuff. So I could see that be a thing. And then I don't know how that actually, like, if the sun's out, you become a tree. This really adds a new layer to Barbara Walters' question about if you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Because now the real question is, if you could end up violently transforming into a tree against your will, which tree would you be?
I'd like to be a cactus.
Well,
Are cactuses considered trees?
You just want to be in a Final Fantasy game. You just admit it. That's a cactuar. That's a cactuar, dude.
Giant saguaro cactus.
Yeah.
Because then at least no one will touch you.
No one will. You can run away.
Imagine being a were-tree and you turn into a tree violently in the middle of the night, and then someone comes along and cuts you fucking down.
And then you wake up and you're back to being human and you're missing an arm.
Your fucking legs are gone.
Yeah,
you're sitting in a lumber pile.
Yeah.
Your arms are gone. Your legs are gone. You're just screaming.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
Man.
Imagine what it was like for the tree.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Imagine what it's going to be like for that lumberjack. You cut the tree down, and here's screaming, comes out and sees this dismembered person screaming in his woodpile.
Yeah. Well, you know what you do is that's how we stop deforestation. We say that actually, when you're not looking, they turn back into people, and they are pissed.
This is a very Night Valian right now,
Yeah.
because there's a whole episode where a guy does turn into a tree.
Oh, God.
Trees, they are us.
Well,
Yeah, it's a whole thing that happens in Night Vale.
Yeah.
In
Often.
the original Swamp Thing series that aired on USA Network,
Oh.
one of his powers was he just outright turned this bad guy into a tree. And then you
Damn.
see this guy's face in this tree, and yeah, I'm like, whoa,
Wow.
that's hardcore punishment there.
Wow. That's something.
You will live forever, but you will be a tree.
Well, there was in Fallout, wasn't it Harold, who was
the super mutant that started growing.
Yeah,
the
he turned into a
branch,
tree.
He turned into a tree, and then you can nuke him.
Yeah, you kind of have to kill the poor guy, because he's like,
You don't have to. You have a choice.
you could walk away, but he's not happy with his life, and you have to like take out the heart of the tree. because yeah.
Conversely, you'll launch a mini nuke at him.
Oh, you can? I didn't try that.
I watch a bunch of videos. Someone launched a mini nuke at him. Everyone in that settlement gets really upset with you and starts trying to kill you.
Well, no kidding. I can't imagine why. Probably because you could have easily hit all of them in the process.
Because you just nuked their living tree god.
Yeah.
He is not happy about it when you do that. He screams a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine why. Maybe the nuking part. That would be a big
hurts
thing.
when you nuke a tree to the face, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see? I know you watch a lot of the Mitten Squad stuff.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the one where he asked if you could beat Fallout 4 by just using mini nukes?
Yes.
Yeah. And the problem, of course, seems to be that like there's so few mini nukes that you
Yes,
pretty much
he
just
ended
have to
up
keep
gun
gun
ba-
bashing the whole time.
Yep, he's like, yeah, they don't randomly spawn. You have to find them all, or
And you can't buy them.
and it's hard to buy them unless you
Can't
do
buy
this
'em.
exact thing. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, gun bashing is a thing.
Yeah, it's yeah. You gotta and if you're not a purist, sorry. that's just the way it is.
See, it's not the challenges themselves that I enjoy about his stuff, Nathan. It's his banter.
Yeah, I get that.
The videos are great. The challenges are fun, but just the commentary.
I like when he fails a challenge. Cuz the obvious question is like, most of the time it's like you can figure out a way to do it. But there's a few times where he's tried stuff where it's like, I don't know if the game will actually allow you to do. He had the one where it's like, can you beat Skyrim with your hands bound?
Yes, that was recent.
Yeah, and I sat there and I thought to myself, one, good luck getting out of that starting area with your hands still bound. And he's like, after way more time than anybody should have to take to do it, he was able to slip under that door. But then that whole fun part where he's just like, I literally cannot do anything in this game. I can't open my inventory. I can't do anything because I have my hands. I can't talk to people. Nothing. And I'm like, yeah, it was a good try. It was a good try. DC Lasser, you have created a new nightmare for me.
Oh, I mean,
Why does Garfield have it? Why is Garfield a spider monster?
All right,
And-
so not this necessarily itself, but there's a whole subreddit dedicated to this type of thing, and
Okay.
it's I'm sorry, John.
Okay.
It's full of just Garfield and John, and one of them is horrific and like everything, and it's got way more subscribers than it ever has any right to have.
No, I imagine. I
I'm
imagine.
I'll look.
Since
There's pictures right there.
we're talking about memes, Garfield is just like a living meme waiting to happen. Everybody will take the opportunity.
In that article is a link to a video by someone called Lumpy Touch who did this whole Game Boy-ish version of this nightmarish Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
So our I'm sorry, John has 635K members,
Sure.
which is far more than it should.
Far
have.
more than
It's,
probably actually read the Garfield comic. That feels like. I bet if you looked at the actual circulation range.
These are just I don't.
Horrible?
It's devolved from just Garfield to like other cartoon things.
Oh, yeah.
Like this one's Winnie the Pooh. There's been a bunch of Patrick Stars.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
this one's Oh boy, I don't know what this is.
It's probably for the best.
This is Pikachu, Bart Simpson. Oh,
Yeah, I've
boy.
seen those posts too, and I I tried to get those out of my head. But anywho, yeah, anyway, The Last of Us was a really well written video game, and you should really enjoy that. Did you ever play BioShock? BioShock Infinite
No.
or no? Oh,
I
that's too
played
bad.
the original for a little bit.
Really? Did you finish it?
No.
No. Right, really. And neither of you played Infinite.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad. The yeah, that was Infinite was really great. Because by the end they get pretty deep in the weeds about multiple dimensions and choices that we make and how that affects the course of your life and yeah. It's it was really good. The narrative of that was great. What they did with Columbia was really super cool. And yeah, the original BioShock. If you didn't get to the part where the real twist comes in, it probably didn't have nearly as much impact because there's a very famous, very famous twist in that game that happens.
It was me all along.
No, it was not that. And I guess I might as well spoil a game that's 10 years old anyway, but there's a whole thing that's happening in the original BioShock where Atlas is telling you saying, would you kindly go here and would you kindly grab this and all of that. And so you keep going there and you're doing that. And what you don't realize until about 2/3 of the way through the game is that would you kindly was actually a brainwashing tactic. And
That, yes.
yeah, and that you have to do what you're commanded when you're told would you kindly, and Atlas knows that. So your actions were not actually your own. You purposefully did do those things thinking you had choice. And then you find out, oh no, you actually didn't have any choice. you had to do that. And that was a really cool, and it's around that time where Andrew Ryan tries to break your programming and fails to do so, and you smack him to death with his own golf club. That's pretty great. Felt good about that. He had a stupid idea. Yeah, but the thing about it is though that BioShock, really more the original BioShock than subsequent ones, was sort of like asking. Ken Levine was kind of asking the question, "Hey, what would an Ayn Randian society really look like?" It would probably end badly, wouldn't it? And so that's what Rapture was. And Columbia was kind of another version of that. But instead of a city under the sea, it was a city in the air. And set further back. But the storyline that was with that had a lot. They were very well done stories. I'm just saying that they were very well done stories with a lot of really interesting context. And Irrational is really good at that, and should definitely get credit for it. I feel like they did, but yeah, Naughty Dog with Last of Us. There's going to be a part 2. It's coming out soon. Next year, I think. And but if you hadn't played the original or the Uncharted series, which Naughty Dog also did, they did a great job with those.
I don't really play AAA titles, so.
Well, you're missing out on some good ones.
Not really.
Yeah, really, really, you are.
It's only missing them if you think I'd enjoy them. I don't think I would.
I got bad news for you, Alex. World of Warcraft is like the AAA title. It's like literally like the upper echelon of a AAA title. It cannot not be considered a AAA title when there are like, what, 10, 12 million concurrent users at any given time. It's a AAA title. Blizzard makes AAA titles.
For Blizzard, I don't think that's quite the same thing.
Uh
I don't consider Blizzard in the same category as AAA publishers.
huh.
Even if they are AAA, apparently games, they're not like the same thing. It's not the same even comparison.
Sure. Whatever you say, man.
They have three IPs. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of developers that only have a couple
four-
IPs.
They have 5 IPs now.
They have 5 IPs, yeah, because they got into the Overwatch thing. But you know, a lot of developers only have a few IPs that they work on. Like, you know, maybe the publishers themselves, but the development houses, you know. Blizzard's kind of a publisher and development house at the same point, you know. Now that they're not really working with Activision, I don't think they're together anymore. But you know, if you look at actual development houses, they don't necessarily make all that many titles. Naughty Dog really only has a few. They made the Jak and Daxter series, and then they made The Last of Us, and they made the Uncharted series. So that's basically 3 IPs that they work on. What did Insomniac do? They made the Ratchet and Clank. They made Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, Sunset Overdrive, and new Spider-Man game. There was something else they did too, wasn't there? Resistance. I think they made Resistance too. But yeah, but I don't necessarily consider, like, if they tried to do a whole bunch of different IPs, if they're good games. Like, if they're good games, I'm fine.
Yeah. See, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you like for gaming and what I like for gaming are different things.
Okay, if you say so.
In a lot of cases, though.
Okay, if you say so. if you say so. I don't know if we're really that far apart, but all right. If you say so. I mean, I'm totally on board to play Outer Worlds. I know that that's a AAA title, so you're probably not going to want to play it, but it's Obsidian, and it looks like a return to their roots of what they did with New Vegas. And so I'm really interested in what they end up making. That's up my alley. And Obsidian doesn't do a lot of, like, specifically IPs, you know. They did Pillars of Eternity.
I don't remember the last game they put out.
What was the last one that they put out? Pillars of Eternity 2. Deadfire. I think that was the last one that they put out. Which was CRPG. That series. I've played some of the first one. And that's really, like, more of their, like, own thing that they do, because so many of their titles were based off of a previous existing IP. But that one was like a new series for them.
Well, they did do
Yeah, they made Pillars of Eternity and 2. If I were being super honest,
really?
if I were being super honest, I did like Divinity Original Sin better for this as a series than Pillars of Eternity. Maybe just because
See, I really care for Pillars of Eternity just for the. You would think I would have, because I really like Diablo and Diablo 2. And Pillars of Eternity it was the whole crafting and item system instead of money that just really didn't care for.
Right. The thing that kind of lost me for that, I mean, I kind of like the character idea. I like that you had, like, a team building thing going on and that you could do it in real time and pause action and stuff. And I was like, okay, they've got some neat ideas here. The only thing was that, man, there's a lot of load screens. There was so many load screens in that game. And Yeah, and like in order to go from one place that I knew I had to go to another one, I legitimately had to go through like 5 load screens just to get from point A to point B. And that bothered me tremendously. Something I can give to Borderlands 3 is a lot of your movement through the game is practically instantaneous. Like it doesn't take you very long to get anywhere, and you can fast travel from anywhere. And so
Yeah.
so moving through the game, there's a lot less downtime moving through transition screens and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to avoid in Pillars. Maybe one of the reasons I like Divinity more is because since they had such large areas to explore, you don't run into many at all, even though the environments are really big. And that's just, it's kind of a technical thing more than anything, but you notice it. And when I noticed it, I was like, ugh, maybe not. But Outer Worlds, it definitely looks like it takes the model of what they did with New Vegas more than anything. That's sort of a role-playing game with those sort of character interactions and that kind of free-form, do what you want sort of gameplay. Even when they talk about, and it comes out later this month, so it makes sense we're talking about it. Is like when they have the little thing. If you saw the trailer for it, where one of the characters is talking to you and she's going, "You have to make a choice. I know that it feels like you've gone from you have worse and bad and worse as your choices, but you got to make a choice and you got to make it now." And you see these two characters and they're arguing in the background, and you shoot one of them. And the other one's like looking on in horror, and the character you're talking to is kind of like going, you didn't actually have to shoot either of them, right? But, hey, you do you. You do you. So my impression is, oh, okay, I can really make some choices as to how the story develops and the world develops. And that interested me because I just went back and played a little bit of New Vegas not too long ago and was like, right. Like this game. Always like this game. Can't help it. So that's me. But then again, I thought you really liked that too. I thought you.
I liked New Vegas more than I liked Fallout 3.
A lot of people like New Vegas more than they liked Fallout 3.
I didn't play Fallout 3 because I thought it was trash.
You didn't. But how did you know that it was trash if you didn't play it?
Because I tried to play it.
Oh, you did
and I was
try
like,
to play
wow,
it.
this game is terrible.
You didn't like
it was mostly the
Fallout
combat
3?
system. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout's always had trouble with its combat system. It's never been great.
Yeah, but 3 was really bad.
3 was not. 3 was a difficult transition to 3D to a first-person perspective for that series.
New Vegas was okay.
New Vegas was good. Yeah.
The game itself made up for the combat.
Yeah. And then 4, they improved upon the actual combat.
4 was better, but
mechanics.
It's
still not a first-person shooter kind of mechanics, for what they're trying to do. Which, that's tries to make up for. That's kind of makes up for.
It does.
But then when they got to 76,
as far as stuff you would consider to be like AAA, like I like Devil May Cry.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that Capcom would at least consider that.
The Civ games.
Civilization, Sid Meier
you
stuff.
would consider those.
Sure.
I mean, I never win them, but I play them for a while.
Right. You've played your fair share of Final Fantasy too, right? Those are.
I've played a few.
Played
a lot.
Yeah.
I played a bit of 8. I played 10 a lot. I have 12, 10 too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Others.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of games.
I might play the remake of 7.
Oh yeah. Might.
Just because then I can be like, oh, what has everyone been telling me I need to play for the last 20 years? Oh, it's this. Okay.
The one thing that I'm interested in when it comes to 7, and yeah, I might try it too. I tried to play the original, and I don't think I could pass the first boss because I did not understand the control schemes or the combat system at all.
It's not surprising.
I might play the remake because it looks like the combat system is closer to what they did with 15, and 15 actually flowed pretty well. The way that they presented it. And so it's like, yeah, I could get behind that. I could see that working. I will not understand the story, but
I
yeah.
I really like Final Fantasy VII, playing it originally, and yeah, I think I've said this before, but seeing when they announced it remake, I'm like, okay, it's just gonna be an update. But then seeing how they've changed things, now I'm way more interested in the remake now that there's all these different elements to it that intrigue me.
Yeah, I'm glad that for 7, especially for 7, that they didn't just do a remastered version like they've been doing for some of the other ones. That they went back in and said, "Oh no, we're completely redoing it. Like we're gonna do it from the ground up." Mostly because I think if they had just put a better coat of paint on it, people would kind of go, "Oh, I don't think the system's aged very well."
Right.
Because to play it now, it does feel very dated. The system that they were using, how you actually interact with it. So good for you, Square, for knowing that that you need to do that, and also for really wanting to make a ton of money, because I'm sure it will. It's kind of a no-brainer for you. But enjoy. Hey, you know what? Some companies don't care about making money. Look at Valve. Why aren't they making Half-Life 3? Portal
Valve
3.
owns Steam, Nathan.
I understand that, but, you know...
I think they're doing pretty good money-wise, Nathan.
But, you know, again, I asked the question I've asked several times. Why aren't they making a Half-Life 3? Why aren't they making a Portal 3? They know it would sell, like, tens of millions of copies and make them
they're busy
a lot of money.
Doing,
They're busy sitting back and watching the money from Steam roll in.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
And making the game that they just made, Artifact. Cool. We're gonna make an online card game. Great. Good use of your resources. It's like a mobile game, but you pay $15 for it at the start. Oh, okay. And there's microtransactions.
Okay, let's put it this way: between Dota, CS:GO, and freaking Team Fortress, and Left 4 Dead as Valve also.
Yeah, I know.
And Steam itself, I'm pretty sure they don't need to make another game ever if they don't want to.
Alternatively, you could put it this way: they have plenty of funds to make the game they want.
Alternatively, yes, I'm sure have plenty of money to make whatever the hell they want right now.
Yes,
but
they probably could.
But yeah, I didn't realize Dota is Valve, and CS:GO I knew was Valve, and CS:GO makes a ton of money off of the cases and the keys for the cases to get the skins.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Team Fortress 2 has all the hats you can buy, I believe.
Yeah, I did. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, okay, if Valve doesn't want to make sequels to all of those series, like to Half-Life, Portal, Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, make a new version of them, gives another studio the ability to do it and just oversee it.
No,
and just oversee it.
Your IP.
But you don't. But
you know what happens when you do that with your IP? You get an EA incident.
Or you get a New Vegas, because if you sub-license, or you get a KOTOR 2, Sith Lords, because you can give it to another company and say, yeah, this is the thing that we were doing. Do you guys think that you could do it? Because we're kind of busy over here. And if you give it to a good one, they can produce a really great game out of it, because that's essentially like what those games were that Obsidian had worked on earlier in the 21st century is, ones where they already had the game. BioWare already made KOTOR, so we have the engine and everything. We need to turn around and be able to make another game in a shorter period of time. Same thing with Fallout 3. We have the engine, we made the game, but we're going to be a little ways out before we make Fallout 4, so we need to use the engine for something. And so, here Obsidian, go, do something with this. And so then they can go and make a game because, Bethesda was busy thinking about making a survival title someday. Or whatever they were on, I don't know. But, like, that kind of a scenario could happen. And it could work. There's plenty of companies that are already familiar with making, like, shooters that have physics-based elements to it. I can't name one off the top of my head, but they exist. They exist.
Shooters with physics-based engines.
Yeah. I mean, they all utilize some.
Portal, technically.
Right.
It's not a shooter, but it utilizes shooter mechanics.
Right. That's also Valve. But and it's also kind of based off of the Half-Life engine anyway, so that's part and parcel. I'm talking about, like, if there was something that was outside of, like, the Half-Life realm that also utilized similar technology. Oh, that's not true. Actually, there's quite a few. Red Faction did a lot of that. Because they had to make basically everything destroyable. So they needed to make physics for how all of that works. If you look at, like, what they did with Gorilla, so that was definitely part of it. There's more of it now than there was before, which is why I think they could easily give it to another company and just say, if you're looking for a project, here you go, and send it off to them. Because, I mean, it's like, they still make money off of it. It's kind of a Spider-Man situation for me. like, you could be very close to the vest with it, but then nobody gets Spider-Man, and no one's going to make a ton of money off of a Spider-Man movie. Or you could just have somebody else take care of it. And accept that you're not going to make all the monies. Which Valve doesn't need to do, And then we'd stop harassing them about when we're going to get a Half-Life 3, which everybody keeps asking them about. And so that gets that monkey off their back. So, you never know.
Oh boy.
Oh no. James.
Hello.
James.
Oh, you guys can't hear me.
Oh.
Hi, guys.
Oh. James. From beyond the grave. No, not from the beyond the grave. What am I talking about? Hey, James. Are you having a spooky day? That's a no. Okay.
Actually, I had. Today was not super spooky.
We can fix that.
we can fix that right now. We're going to make something super spooky for you.
Yeah. You know what's super spooky? Cordyceps myconids in your D&D games.
Yeah. And a were
What?
mushroom. We made a were mushroom
Yep.
while you were away. So
I am a little confused, but okay.
that's okay. Basically, imagine if you have a myconid. You know the myconid, the mushroom people?
Yes.
And they bite you, and they give you lycanthropy. And now you're a were mushroom. Now,
Actually sounds kind of.
yeah. Now, in the middle of the night, you wander out looking for, garden fresh salads that you can nestle into, and avoiding fire pits and warlocks
Or
that
jumping
use
into
fire
them.
spells. Yeah. It is a lonely existence, and one that very few people can relate to, but you can enjoy. Anyway, that's what our conversation's basically been about.
Awesome.
Yep. So that's good. Thanks to Mike Myler, by the way, for giving me nightmare fuel with those little links that he posted. Yeah.
Of the I'm sorry, John thing.
Yeah. The Blues Clues is yeah. Man, remind me to not piss off Blue for the future.
Steve didn't go to college. Steve was eaten by Blue.
Steve didn't go to college. Steve was eaten by Blue.
Yep. There you go.
So hey, it really was true, wasn't it? Steve did die. The rumors were true. Steve's ghost haunts these very halls. Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid, folks. Blue and Garfield
What
are going to destroy you.
the heck? This.
So there are some very disturbed people out there, James, and they got
about 700,000 of them.
about 700,000 people who are fascinated with turning cute, colorful cartoon characters into horrid monsters. I don't know why, but
I
this is
don't know.
this is the world we live in now. Hope y'all locked your doors. So anywho, so yeah, that happened. We what else? We pit Godzilla and King Kong against each other because Lord knows the next movie's going to be about that. What else? Alex doesn't play AAA games. We established that. I think that's been well established. By this point, by him, of all people. Yeah. And for some reason, no one played BioShock. I don't know why. I don't know why. James, did you ever play the BioShocks?
I have not. I've heard good things about them, but I just don't like shooter games or anything that is similar to them.
Okay, see, that's more so what I mean. I don't care for the AAA titles that are, and most of the new AAA games you see coming out are all the shooter games.
They have shooter elements.
No, most
true.
of the games you see that are AAA titles are all shooter games.
Well, like the Call of Duties and such, yeah.
Call of Duty, BioShock, and Destiny.
Yeah,
and
but
Modern Warfare and
BioShock's not as. I mean, there's shooting,
in
but it is not a
Battlefield.
focus on shooting. The actual focus from BioShock was that you can utilize the environment in a variety of ways, and
It's a shooter.
sometimes it's a.
In Borderlands,
If you want to shoot things,
admittedly, Borderlands isn't bad. I didn't like the
no,
first one.
Borderlands good. Borderlands good. Borderlands 3 good. There, I said it.
There's a waterfall going on.
That is me looking at this video.
Oh God, God, don't do that. That's not going to end well. Don't do this to yourself. Just walk away while you have the chance. It's like if Home Alone went terribly bad, like worse than it did for those bandits. I mean, it ended bad for the bandits. And
They should have died.
They really should have died, and Kevin really should have been incarcerated. But because really, what Kevin could have done if he really was worried about those bandits is just call the cops before going through all of that elaborate. Like when they originally showed up, he could have just called the cops then. If you think about it, if you go back
Why would you want to do that when you could booby trap your house?
Well, but here's the thing: is that you'll note that it was not until he was leaving to go to his treehouse that he called the cops. That was far into his time playing around with them in the house.
You know what would have made the entire thing a lot more spoopy?
What?
If his parents had gotten home and the house is still booby trapped.
Yep, that would have been great. That would have been a much darker film, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Just like Kevin just sitting
Kevin,
there
why
like,
are your
no, I can't
parents
call the
dead?"
cops. They're gonna. No, I can't call the cops. I gotta do something about these. Then the burglars walk in and he's like, you're part of this now too. You gotta help me clean this up. And then that takes a whole other turn as Kevin and the Wet Bandits have to work together to try and cover up this whole scenario. That would be terrifying. Make
This
that.
should be a thing.
That should be a
This should
Robot
be a
Chicken
thing we do where
sketch.
we just we figure out alternate endings to movies.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make anything into something scary. Like
It didn't say it had to be scary, just said alternate endings.
but we're spooky right now. So if we're
Yeah.
being spooky, we need to come up with spooky ways to end things. Like for instance, Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins.
She kills the kids.
Yes, with the umbrella. Perfect.
Mary Poppins, that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down was really cocaine. And the kids now have a terrible drug addiction.
It turns out that the reason she can fly is because she was on drugs the entire time.
It was LSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing crazy, just LSD.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, okay, cool. Somehow when you do this, it somehow makes the movie make more sense. This is perfect. We make the movies make more sense by
I
making
mean, to
them
be
horrible.
fair, those penguins dancing and whatnot does make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, that's a psychotropic trip right there. Somebody was on something. Yeah. And always covered in the dust, the chimney sweeps. That dust might not have been
Again, the cocaine.
Yep, exactly. Man, who knew that Disney
Ew,
films were so pro drug?
This is fucked up.
Oh, okay.
The video, not you guys. You guys are
Oh.
fine.
Oh, okay.
No, he's still watching.
I sort of skimmed through it. Great thing about YouTube videos is being able to pause them and then like just skim through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, Mary Poppins was on LSD.
Yeah, we figured out. Yeah, Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins is what?
Was on LSD
We figured it out.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down that's given the kids.
That
Yeah.
was just the cocaine.
That's cocaine. It must have been. That's why they can see the penguins. And that's
Yes.
why she can fly.
Although cocaine is not a psychotropic drug, so I mean that.
That
would
was something
explain it.
different. That was a different kind of thing. That was probably an
That was the
opioid.
LSD.
That was the LSD.
Oh.
That was the
okay.
LSD.
Okay, great. Yeah. This is good.
Okay.
This is good. I think this works out great. We're gonna for spooky times now. We're just going to take wholesome family movies and we are going to make them dark. We're just gonna make them dark.
Like my mum.
Oh man, that's good.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Doubtfire. Too much to
I
work
mean
with.
that movie is already dark, Nathan.
It's already dark, and he's in violation of a lot of laws.
Yeah.
he's already in violation of
The only
a
way
lot
it
of
gets
laws.
darker is if he kills the mother's boyfriend, and then like.
But he can't do that because it's James Bond. It would be impossible.
Even more reason to do it.
Maybe.
No, that's Mission Impossible.
Oh, hey, that's a possibility. Mrs. Doubtfire was actually Blofeld the whole time, and it was actually a 007 movie. Mrs. Doubtfire was actually
That
a
doesn't
James
make
Bond
it
film.
scary, Nathan.
It does kind of, because Robin Williams as Blofeld. That's a brilliant performance. If that was what he was doing the entire time, brilliant, brava. He should have won an Oscar for that. He didn't. He was robbed. Yeah. I mean, there's good. What's your favorite? Like, what we can do is we can just take people's favorite movie, and we can make it a horror movie, and that's
Oh,
good.
great.
That
This
yeah,
can't go wrong.
no, not at all.
You
J-
can't make Princess Bride into a horror movie. You
Oh,
just can't.
yes, you can.
The rats of unusual size win. They win. They multiply out of control, and they take over everything. There's
Yeah,
a
the
last.
rats of unusual size, that wasn't even their final form. They're really
Yep.
like giant were-rats that
Yeah.
come out and just start eating all the villagers.
Yeah.
I mean,
And when a rat of unusual size bites you, you become a were-rat of unusual size, and, and yeah, and then whenever
they
you see
dwarf Andre the Giant at that point.
yeah, they bite Andre the Giant. He becomes a gigantic rat of unusual size, and then every time he smells cheese, he turns into that. And then, yeah, see, we can do this.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
My name.
Yes.
My name is Inigo Mouse Toya. You. Welcome to The Princess Died. so check and mate, James. The Princess Died. A wonderful story. Yep. Fred Savage was dead the whole time, and it's only that, and his grandfather's the only one that can see him. It's a prequel to The Sixth Sense.
Sounds about right.
So,
At the end of the movie, the nurse comes in and takes the grandfather away from an empty bed.
yes, yeah, exactly.
He's got full onset dementia.
Yep.
He's like, "No, I don't want to go yet." And she's like, "It's okay, we gotta go. There's no one here. There's no one here." He's like, "I don't want to go," and he pulls out a freaking sword and just runs her through.
It's that part where he's going, I haven't finished reading the rest of the story for my grandson. And she's,
No, and he runs her through with the through the sword, and then you realize he's got 6 fingers.
Oh my gosh.
Plot twist.
Right out of left field.
Yeah.
Kid's dead the whole time. The guy telling the story is actually Inigo Montoya.
Perfect.
I win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your favorite movie, Nathan? Let's ruin it for you.
My favorite. I don't know. My favorite movie. I don't even know what my favorite movie is, to be honest with you. I probably would have said like Princess Bride. But if I were to pick a different movie, oh well, I mean Super Mario Brothers was just amazing,
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
No,
That was
I'm
already a
not-
horror movie,
that's
Nathan.
not-
Yeah, it
it's
really
not
was.
literally.
well, then we just go back to the Myconoids. The Goombas
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Goombas win.
And-
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mice
They,
nits.
they just,
They
just
just-
wear mushrooms. You know?
They just eat Mario's skull.
Yeah, the Goombas might actually be where Mycen is. That would explain a lot. That would be terrifying. Who knows?
Koopa actually turns into a dragon and just melts the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yes, I'm going with it.
Also, you don't really like that movie, do you, Nathan?
No, I don't. I don't think I've ever seen it. To be honest
What?
with you.
I mean,
I
it's
think it's
worth a
terrible.
watch just to see how terrible it is.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take your word for it. I'm not gonna watch it. Sorry. Oh no, my favorite movie is of course Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Has to be.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
that's also already a horror movie.
Yep.
No, it's a great movie.
I mean, it is kind of terrifying though.
I mean, the plot twist at the end of that one is Sid
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an entire SWAT team that opens fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I mean, the subtext that actually is kind of terrifying is how it pretty much props up the aristocracy at the expense of the proletariat. But, besides that part, that whole thing, I'm being oppressed, my rights, he's getting dragged away.
The guys playing the coconuts
Yeah.
actually come up behind the knights and just smash their heads together with the
Oh, yeah.
two halves of the coconut.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
heads right in between, and bam,
Yeah.
bloody mess everywhere.
Yeah.
And it turns out it ends up like a horse that actually like stomped all over their heads. Because
And the
those coconuts are how you get horse sounds.
The coconuts were actually skulls. The coconuts were actually skulls. That would be a thing. Skull coconuts. Yeah, the rabbit was actually the hero of the story the entire time. Because really he was anyway, so we have to give him props. What else would have happened?
Someone gets bitten by a moose.
Yes, somebody gets bitten by a moose. It was probably the
It was
three-headed.
probably someone's sister.
Yeah.
Was that in that one, or is that one in a different movie?
I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to.
It's in one of the Monty Python movies. There's a
Oh.
card, and I think it's at the beginning of the movie. It's like, my sister got bitten by a moose once.
Okay.
It's this long card at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. I think that might have been in Holy Grail.
Yeah, Holy Grail.
Yeah. The Black Knight comes back in like a Sleepy Hollow sort of situation, like a Pumpkinhead situation, and decides that that it really was just a flesh wound, and he's gonna go back and take everybody else's limbs off.
Oh, so the Black Knight actually triumphs?
Yeah, the Black Knight
There you
triumphs.
go.
Yeah, and hey, that is actually a smart thing. You know how the Black Knight's like, I'm gonna bite you. I'll bite you right off. He was actually a lycanthrope, and if you get bitten by the Black Knight, you turn into a Black Knight.
I thought you were going to say he turns into the rabbit.
Oh no, I really wish that no, the rabbit's also a were-rabbit, and when he bites you, you actually turn into the rabbits of the dead. A great rock band, and also a wonderful plot twist. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like that movie was already kind of morbid in its tone for a lot of it, so I don't know. The French were actually the good guys. Yep.
No, probably not.
The French were actually the good guys. Yeah. And it turns out that elderberries were actually like, the main food staple for the area, and the fact that they were making such a big deal out of it. Yeah. So, hey, so many things you could do with that movie. Life of Brian, already pretty much dark, morbid. Except that they're already singing A Bright Side of Life pretty ironically at the end. So yeah, actually you can't really do much to Monty Python movies to make them scary. Because it
It's
just
too slapstick for it, I think.
Yeah, it's too slapstick for that. What if I said my favorite movie was like Silence of the Lambs? Go for it. Just try.
What if you did what?
If I said like my favorite movie was Silence of the Lambs. Just go ahead, try. What makes this?
Oh,
Job's done. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing to do.
yeah. I've never actually seen it. I've never seen it.
you actually see him eat his old friend at the end of the movie?
Did that happen in the movie? I
He
don't
said
know.
he was having an old friend for dinner.
Oh, okay.
And to make it even more horrifying, you actually get to watch him eat his friend.
Oh, that's cool. Um, that's that sounds apt, or app.
I mean, he already wore someone's face. Why not?
Yeah, sure. No, that was Face Off. The one where
No.
where John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. So there's gonna be a
Nathan.
remake of that film. That's the scary thing.
Nathan, in
Yes.
the elevator shaft where they find him,
Yes.
he's wearing someone else's face.
All right.
Or
I've
sorry, no, he's
I
not in the
have
elevator
never
shaft. You put the
seen
other
the
guy.
movie. I don't
You've
know
never
what
seen
you're.
Silence?
I have
All right,
never
first of all,
seen.
it's not that
Yeah.
fun.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he escapes by wearing someone else's face. Literally, he rips the other guy's face off.
Okay. Okay. No, you know what makes the Silence of the Lambs even scarier?
The cover art
No,
being naked ladies.
no. Hannibal Lecter was actually Shia LaBeouf the whole time. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. He is a brilliant actor.
But
hmm
yeah,
No, I hadn't heard that.
oh, hold on, I'll find it. I'll put it as a spoiler, so it's because it's probably not safe for Twitch. But
What are you doing?
what?
All right, it was good to hang out with you guys, but think I might be a little sick, so I'm gonna call it a night, I think.
Well, we're all sick. Have you not gotten that from the last hours? Did you get sick from watching the thing about the Garfield?
Maybe.
Fair enough.
Just, so I think I'm gonna call it an evening, but I will
Okay.
hopefully hang out with you guys soon.
All right.
Maybe there'll be another live stream. So
Maybe there will be a live
All right.
stream. Maybe we'll do something spooky later in the month. I'm not sure.
Poopy.
But if we do, we'll let you know.
I'll see you guys later. Have a good
Alright.
evening.
Ciao.
What is this a spoiler for?
Yeah, the spoilers because it's technically probably not something
So-
Twitch friendly.
The famous image of Silence of the Lambs is a woman's face, and there's a moth over the mouth.
Yeah, it's I think
Oh,
a
yeah.
death's head moth
Yeah.
with
yeah,
a skull on it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And so
if
you're
you-
saying that what you're describing was the moth is made of
No, the skull.
Oh, the skull.
The
Okay.
skull is made of naked women.
Oh.
Ah, okay.
Huh.
Can
Okay.
you see it?
I'm the one who has the feed. I can't actually watch it. Because if I
You can look
did,
at
then it would
you
be
can
on the
look at
feed.
later, Nathan.
I will
Here,
look at
I'll,
I will look at your
I'll-
naked
this is
lady
a-
skull later. As titillating as that may be, I will look at that later.
it's nothing graphic. I just don't want Twitch flagging it for anything.
That's fair. But
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
anyway, when I originally sat down and I thought that we might do a show about spooky things, I did pull up a whole thing about spooky games, actual tabletop games, and some of them I'm sure you are actually familiar with, like of course Pandemic, because we've had Matt Leacock on the show.
Is that spooky or just everyone's dying?
It's it's the kind of board game. Well, you know what? I've played it, and I do have to say, it does get you a little bit disturbed that outbreaks are that easy to occur. Like the thought process behind it, you really start thinking like, oh, yeah, boy, it's really hard to contain this, isn't it? Even if everybody's working together. Uh-oh. That might be bad. Because it's like an actual fear that's grounded in reality. So, yeah. I mean, a virus might not seem as scary as like a werewolf or a ghost, but it kills a lot more people. And it actually exists. So,
Mhm.
I mean, not that I'm not like ghost bashing here, folks. For everybody who's like, oh no, ghosts are real. It's all right. I'm sure some ghosts were very mean.
Can you imagine how many ghosts that game is gonna make though? All those pandemics and killing all those people.
Yeah, they could have just reframed it as post-pandemic, and then all the pieces. It's just pandemic, but you just say that all the little pieces are ghosts. And now the ghosts are just extended. And the characters that you play, of course, the Ghostbusters. You
There you go.
and then and then I can play Venkman, and that's all I really wanted anyway. Yeah, Ghostbusters. How do we make Ghostbusters scary?
Which
The
which
original,
Ghostbusters?
the original Ghostbusters.
I mean,
Who you gonna call?
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was probably actually scary as hell.
I found him lovable and cuddly.
Oh, well, we make him scarier.
Yeah. I don't think it was till the end where like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man had teeth that I really felt in danger of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It wasn't until he was super angry. And if you think about it, I don't really think that even the Ghostbusters found, because he kind of wound up as like the mascot of the Ghostbusters anyway. It was like on everything. Like in the animated series, I think they had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on some of their advertising and stuff.
Probably.
Yep.
The thing, yeah. So I'm like you can't be scary if you're gonna use it for an ad campaign. You know.
Well,
And-
if you want the body horror, you have all the ectoplasm just pour out of the Ghostbusters,
Oh,
like noses and ears and mouths, and out of
There
their
you go.
fingernails.
that's pretty great. Yeah, make that happen. I think the problem with trying to make the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man like scary is that Ray specifically says he tried to think of the least scary, wholesome thing he could imagine. And so right up at the front, they're kind of going from a place of I'm going to take something nice and safe and turn it bad. So it's kind of hard to make it worse than what a demon from a hell dimension comes up with. To make a marshmallow scary. I mean, they did technically.
Marshmallow starts
Yeah.
spewing out the ectoplasm, just vomiting it everywhere.
Oh my god. He went on a marshmallow bender. That can't be good. I mean, technically, I suppose you can make anything scary if you want to think about it. Like they did it with clowns, but then like tomatoes. They had a whole movie where they tried to make tomatoes scary. It was
They
called.
failed.
They yeah, I'm not saying it worked. It's a lot of times it doesn't work. Let's just get that right out of the way. Okay. Some other games that they say are scary. We talked about Gloom, Fury of Dracula, Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror, those games. Betrayal at House on the Hill, which I have, but
I think I played it.
nobody wants to play it with me. So, and you need a certain amount of people to really do it. So it sits in its cellophane wrapper with my other games. Zombicide. Oh, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. That's a pretty well-known one. For people who want to be a werewolf. You want to be... They should have made One Night Ultimate Mushroom. Broken opportunity.
Yeah, next time.
You know what? Somebody can listen to this episode and think to themselves, "Hey, new plan. Gonna make mushrooms. That's gonna be the new expansion." They could do it with Flux, you know, make a were expansion with mushrooms. That would be great. There are a great number. I did mention nyctophobia, and we let's see. I mean, really, for me, at least in the video game realm, the scariest games are the ones that have sharks. If there's a shark
There you go.
in a
Gonna
game,
make you play a shark dating sim.
yeah, shark dating sim. I keep saying it's amazing that I made it as long and did as much as I did in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, considering that there are just like sharks all through the waters, because I literally just tried to do every mission without actually setting foot in the water.
Do the whole mission in the water.
Every time they were like, oh, and here we need, literally at the start of the game, one of the things you do on that first island that you go to is they're like, hey, can you recover these jewels that landed that landed at the bottom of these ruins? A couple sharks decide, and I'm like, you're just gonna have to deal with the fact that they're gone. I'm not doing that mission. Sorry. I looked out over the sea, because you could take your bird out and you can look down and you see the two sharks and they're swirling around the gems that are at the thing. It's like, well, they're gone. Not dealing with this. Sorry.
So what if it had been hippopotamus snake?
I'd be fine. Because
You'd be fine, even though hippos kill more people than sharks do.
Yep. You know why? Because there were hippos in Origins. There were hippos and there were crocodiles in Origins, and I was fine with that. I could take that. I could deal with those. But sharks.
What if there were cars? Cars kill way more people than hippos and sharks combined.
If there were living cars underwater, yeah, I could probably figure out a way to deal with that problem.
I mean,
I'd be fine.
we could probably get the modern community onto that.
Yeah, if the modding community wants to replace the sharks in Odyssey with anything else, I will go and do the underwater missions.
We can replace them with Thomas the Tank Engine.
If you replace it with Thomas the Tank Engine, I will beat the shit out of Thomas the Tank Engine. Just for the record, I will kick that damn tank's ass over and over again. Not going to be an issue. Not going to be an issue. But if for some reason that smokestack looks like a fin coming out of the water, ain't happening.
We'll make a water dynamic Thomas for you.
Yeah, that would be terrific. There's another.
I mean, Skyrim did it. Why not?
Right. There's another mission later on where this little girl wants you to collect pearls that are in this inlet, and she needs them so that she can make a necklace for you, and she's like, but there is a big scary shark in there, and I go to this bay. And for some reason, in this coral bay, there's just a shark swimming around. And so I do the only thing that is logical. I take out my bow. I pelt the shark with a bow until it's dead. It turns over and falls to the bottom. And then I still refuse to go into the water to get the pearls. Because I'm like, yep, looks dead, but fuck it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going in there.
Looks dead, but I'm not chancing it.
Well, because my thought process was that, okay, that shark got in there. What if another shark comes up behind me while I'm in the water? Nope. Not happening. I don't do that. That's why everybody's like, oh, you should play Depth. Fuck no. I am never playing that game. Not happening. Sorry. Don't know. The thing that's weird is it's mostly about fish. Like if it's the demon fish in Far Cry or whatever, or it's sharks. If you make it anything else, I'm fine. I played Subnautica. Subnautica is all underwater and has plenty of aquatic animals. Some of them they even call sharks, but they don't really look so sharky because it's an alien planet with alien species. And I was pretty okay with that. And like in Origins, as I said, there's other aquatic animals. I was fine with that. But for some reason, Yeah. No. Shark, no. Piranha fish, not happy. I was okay for, like, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They put in piranhas, but they're so small you don't really even know what they are. And I tried to avoid the giant clump of piranhas. That's fine. Sharks.
So what we need to do is get you back into World of Warcraft and have you just do the zone of Vashir.
Isn't that all underwater now?
Yeah. No, Vashir is one of the ones they added during Cataclysm.
Oh, okay.
And it's an underwater zone.
Okay.
Yeah, there's sharks. There's sharks and stuff.
Don't like that.
There's a whale shark you can kill.
There's a whale shark. Does it look more like a whale or a shark?
Looks more like a whale, honestly.
Okay. Because, like, a whale shark, I'm not really scared of a whale shark. The problem is that every time they make a shark in a game, it has to be modeled off of either a white shark or a mako. You know, like predatory sharks. Not like the big, behemoths of the sea that just kind of float around, do their thing.
Oh, yeah. No hammerheads.
Yeah, they always make it look like hammerhead or something like that. And of course, the ones that they decide to do are white sharks, and of course, they're the scariest. We all know, like, that's why they modeled Jaws and in the shallows and 48 meters down, 47 meters down, whatever. All of those movies, they always model them after great whites. Because great whites are the scariest.
Big.
Yeah.
It's because they're so big.
Yeah, they're big and they look very deadly because they are very deadly.
Yeah.
The
so
irony
they
is,
attack you, maybe.
They're probably not going to hurt you, even if you happen to be in the water with one. They're probably not going to attack you. The likelihood is actually pretty low. But I don't care. The logical part of my brain is like, yeah, I'm probably in way more trouble if I have to deal with a crocodile. But in a video game,
that'll straight up murder you.
Yeah, crocodiles don't give a shit. Sharks mostly just like probably not worth your time or effort for them. Like they're just like, not interested. Unless it's like a bull. Bull sharks will straight up come for you. They are not afraid. And they can live in fresh water for up to 3 years. There's the more you know for this episode. Bull sharks.
There you go.
Live in the Mississippi River. Yeah, think about that. Just think about that. That's a scary thing, right there. Other scary games include Dead of Winter, which I have not actually gotten a chance to play, but it's about zombies. It's a tile laying game, pretty well known. That was on tabletop, actually.
Okay.
Elder Sign, also on tabletop. That's fun. You notice that Eldritch and Elder and Arkham are used a lot for games.
Yeah,
as titles.
Because people have original ideas.
How do we say something old and ancient and kind of foreign? Eldritch.
We could call it ancient.
We could call it ancient, but Eldritch sounds so much better. I'm going to use that. This sounds aspirational. Zombicide. That sounds like a fun game. I like that. Grab your trusty baseball bat. Go hunting for a boomstick. I want a boomstick. Ash tried to sell me on that. I really wish there were more like Evil Dead style game. You could do that. I wonder if I could make Ash as a character in a role-playing game.
Sure, what are you going to do for the chainsaw hand?
I don't know. I guess it depends which game I'm trying to make him in. Like
Sure.
if I was doing it in D&D, I don't know. What could I use for a rotating blade? It would have to be like a magical toothed thing.
No,
Ooh,
it would just have to be gnomish.
ooh. You know what you use for the teeth on the
What?
blade?
Shark teeth.
I was gonna say dragon teeth, but yeah, you get the general gist of it. I use actual teeth for the chainsaw teeth. That would be terrifying. Can you imagine what that would look like? That would be awesome. That would
Yeah, I'm
be.
pretty sure they have them in Warhammer.
I was gonna say Warhammer feels like a thing that they would have done that in.
I mean, chain blades are a thing in Warhammer, so
Yeah, they probably have actual steel though.
I mean, yes, but some of them are chain blades are made from creatures,
Yeah, yeah.
notably Karn's blade Gorechild,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe some of the space wolves have blades that have animal pieces as teeth as well.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Mansions of Madness. I think that's based on Lovecraft. But you know, I had played a game
Do
last year. I play many games. That's true. But I played a game last year that was Call of Cthulhu, and it was based on Cthulhu. And I did not particularly find that all that scary, but it had some interesting ideas about your sanity. Although there are some other games, I think Sinking City came out this year, and that's also kind of based on Lovecraft. Lovecraft's very in right now, so usually when you talk about horror, his name comes up a lot. People love their cosmic horror. Good news, we're going to have an upcoming episode on that later in the month. Haha. See? Plug. And so listen to that. That's going to be fun. So anyway, yeah, we made some scary things, and we saw some scary things, and I am utterly disturbed. I'm primed for Halloween. So hey, oh no, oh no, oh no,
O'Reilly?
oh no, no. I'm looking at what DC posted. What?
So these are probably two of my favorite real world creepy things:
Uh-huh.
bog bodies and the bleeding tooth fungus.
Oh boy.
Oh, great. I gotta open this other one up. I guess I can go over here for a second and see what it is. And
Yeah,
That's a-
they're like mummified people in bogs, and they look like they have just seaweed wrap stuck to them now
oh, that's great.
forever.
That's terrific.
And it gets weirder because they theorize that a lot of these bodies were when they pick them up, they're like happy and or something, and they were used in a sacrifice where they were meant to be killed and
Oh,
sacrificed to a god, and so they willingly allowed this to happen to them.
oh. Well,
And then some were, straight out murder.
yeah. I imagined that some of them were not
I mean,
exactly
it's still
on
all
board.
murder, but
Some of them were not exactly on board with this process. Yeah, bleeding tooth fungus. Wow. You know what they need to do? They need to put that image of the bleeding tooth fungus in every dentist's office, and just
Yeah.
scare kids with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I totally want to go to the dentist less than I already do now. Thanks.
Well, no. What you do is you have a brave dentist with like a giant sword toothpick that's stabbing bleeding tooth fungus, and then all of a sudden it becomes about like, don't let this happen to you. You know? I don't want. I'm going to take a wild stab that this is not an edible mushroom.
I
But
wouldn't. It does not look like something I
No.
want to put anywhere near my body.
good news, though, Alex. The colorful pigments of that stuff that looks like blood are used to dye fabrics. So, for all you know, this might actually be on the clothing on your body right now.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you wearing anything that looks vaguely red?
Nope.
Nope. I am. I'm wearing a lot of red
Good
right
news,
now.
Nikolai.
Yeah.
Good news. You're wearing that mushroom.
Aren't you so happy? This will make you never want to buy red clothes again. Oh,
Buy
hey,
it yourself.
good.
I'm wearing a red shirt, and so I kind of feel bonded now.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and, you know, this time of year, wearing a red shirt probably means you're going to be the first one to die. But
Sweet. Well,
hey, you know, we had a good run. The Federation will take care
yeah.
of our families. Despite its horrific appearance, though, this mushroom is not poisonous. They would not recommend eating it. The taste is described to be very bitter pepper. Somebody legitimately looked at this in the forest and said, "Wonder if I can eat it." That person needs to be committed. Man, that is. Phew. Sometimes you see something in the forest that looks so terrible you don't think, wonder if that will fry up real good. But now, this is the thing. With this is what I would want to look like if I could turn into a were mushroom.
That is fair.
This is the kind of were mushroom variety I want to be. If I could be a mushroom, what kind of mushroom would I be? The bleeding tooth fungus. The more you know. So, while we're wrapping up here, I was going to ask everyone, like I usually do, what you are playing. Alex, I probably know the answer, but what are you currently playing?
Who are you asking? Because you cut out.
Oh, Alex, I
Me?
think I know the answer.
Currently nothing. I'm not playing any games at the moment.
Oh, okay.
But the two I've been frequenting are Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, which is fantastic. I think I've mentioned it before.
Okay.
It's basically a Diablo 2 style game, except in Warhammer's universe, and it's just really, really awesome. Between all the skills you can customize and the way how much gear you can get, and then reroll the stats to make it like really customize what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and the crafting stuff, and just the sheer amount of missions you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like a Diablo where you leave town, go out to the map, and do things. It's everything you do is mission based.
Sure.
So they're like one-off missions
Yeah.
or a storyline mission.
Yeah.
But there's just so much that you can do in it. And
Yeah.
like, there's 100 levels, and I'm level 50, and it's like I still got a long way to
Yeah. Yeah.
go.
That's cool.
The other game I'm playing is World of Warcraft, obviously.
That's pretty much what the one I thought. I knew the answer
But
to.
if any of you listening like Warhammer 40k and like Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, I would suggest looking into Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. That is its full name, or 40,000 really, but you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, check it out. I've put 121 hours into the game so far, and I'm only level 50.
That's a lot of hours. Yeah.
There's 3 classes and one more class added with DLC. There's Crusader, which is power armor and can do heavier weapons. There's an assassin, which is obviously lighter armor and more mobile and whatnot.
Sure. Sure.
And then there's your psyker, who is like your magic user, or
Mm-hmm.
your psychic power user.
Nice.
Which I haven't really delved into that one so much.
Mm-hmm.
Been working on the assassin, and then I was working
Sure.
on my crusader. So
I see. Okay. Yeah. That's not quite as many character options as like Diablo presents. I mean, original Diablo,
No.
yes, but the later ones.
And they added a fourth, which is a tech priest, with their DLC or
Okay.
their expansion. Sorry, it wasn't DLC; it was a full-fledged expansion.
Yep. Yep.
So that adds a new class. And
That's
unlike
good.
Diablo 3, the weapons you have actually matter.
Oh.
Remember Diablo 3 where you pick your weapons and you're really just picking it for whatever like
The
abilities they have
stats
on
are
them?
good, and
Yeah,
it
the
does a
stats and
thing.
stuff, and like a legendary ability or a set ability.
Sure.
Yeah, no, these weapons actually you use the weapons to do damage to things, not just your skills.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
you have your two mouse buttons and then your 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of skills. So
Yeah.
your weapons, if you've got a two-handed weapon, it gets the two mouse in 1 and 2. And if
Mhm.
you have a one-handed weapon in each hand, or one-hander and a shield, depending on whatever,
Yeah.
your abilities are determined by your weapons.
Oh.
So if I have with my Crusader, I've got a power hammer in my main hand and a pistol in the other hand. And so my abilities with the mouse are the pistol with the mouse, and then the other ones are they're the power hammer with the mouse, and then they're the pistol with the other buttons. And if I were to swap them, it would reverse which ones are bound to what. If I
Oh.
switch weapons completely, my entire four stats are, or my entire four abilities are different.
Oh. Okay.
So
Hmm.
yeah, you don't have to be like, oh, I took this skill, it's set there now. I can use whatever weapon I want. You go, no, different weapons do different things.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really fun actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm currently using a power hammer and a autogun, which is
Oh yeah.
usually pretty bad as far as 40k goes, but oh boy, it actually is really not bad in this.
Mhm. Oh, that's good.
When you got the auto fire and yeah, just use it and murder people with it.
I mean, I like Diablo style games, so that. But I don't know. It's one of those things where like every time I get my hands on a Diablo style game like the hack and slasher, I get in and I'm really enthusiastic, but then sometimes I lose interest real fast. So
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I've got 121 hours into it and I'm still playing.
yeah, that sounds more like what Diablo 2 was for me, because
I feel like you would enjoy it. Yeah, there's the skill tree
Mm-hmm.
is gargantuan.
Yeah. Yeah. That has that can be good and bad, because I mean, like, I used to get really lost when Final Fantasy had those giant circle skill trees. Like, didn't 10 have like a ton of different circles that you
10
could...
had the sphere grid.
Yeah,
The sphere grid was great.
yeah, man, it's just that's a little too micromanaging. I don't know. Part of me thinks that I might end up... They just remastered 10 and 10.2, so you can
Yeah,
play them on
it's
the new
good.
systems. And a part of me is like,
Yeah.
I might try it. See.
I mean, I have it, so.
Yeah. But, alright. So you're playing those. DC.
Yep.
DC.
Well, I completed Astral Chain recently, and I'm probably going to go to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild next, and might actually be the first game I stream. So
Oh, very nice. So you have the Switch?
yes,
You're
yep.
switched? Good. Okay. What was Astral Chain like?
It was fun action
Mhm.
anime type style game.
Yeah.
It was weird because compared to Ononaki, you're still using like demon creatures that are bound to you in some way,
Yeah.
and it's a very different game. But it's a lot of fun, and I had a very good time with it.
That was good. That's good.
I like you could switch up, and the only problem is you get four different. Oh man, now I can't. Legions are called legions in this game.
Mm-hmm.
You can switch between them and find your style of play with one of them, and some puzzles you gotta switch between them all because they have different powers, and
Yeah.
so it's like, well, I like playing with this guy, so I'm not really going to bother leveling up these other things that don't really have a huge story behind them either. So
Sure. Yeah, I was wondering too, because I kind of feel like it's in that vein, so you might like it. Had you ever played Nier Automata?
no, I haven't played that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play it either. I played the original Nier. But everyone was like, Automata was great. People really loved that. I mean, the story, the thematic part of it, and how it was presented and everything. But yeah, from a story standpoint, but it's also like a third person, action game for the most part with RPG elements. And presents some interesting moral dilemmas along the way. In a world that is past the age of humans, it is just like the robots that we left behind and the conflicts that they have to deal with.
Nobody needs humans.
Well, I think the idea in Nier was that the humans ended up dying off, and so it was just our constructs that we had built that were left at the end of it all. And a lot of them are having a lot of like crises without humans around. Sometimes moral and sometimes psychological crises that they're trying to work through. And a lot of the characters are actually named after philosophers and like psychologists and stuff. But for some reason, I think that would be interesting. I do also want to play. Like, I do want to get a Switch mostly so that I can play Zelda and Mario, and Pokemon when it comes out. Yeah, as the list gets longer for the Switch, it makes me want to buy one.
Yeah, the upcoming Zelda games is kind of why I bought the Switch before, right?
Yeah, they had Awakening just came out. Apparently, that was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to
Yeah, I
that.
remember playing the original of that.
Yeah.
Again, it's another. I'm losing words. It's another remake that they do something really interesting to,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they actually did do a lot of stuff to that game while keeping the spirit of it alive. And so I appreciated that. I'm also really looking forward to seeing what they do with Metroid. Because they're gonna do another Metroid Prime, and I'm always looking forward to that. I'm glad they're getting back to that. And of course I wanted to play Smash Brothers. Now you can play Banjo Kazooie. Let's face it, that's all you needed, Alex. All you
What?
need is Banjo
Kazooie?
Kazooie. Yeah, well, I need Kazooie, but I also need the banjo to go with the Kazooie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I shared a picture of the skill trees I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That's how many, and then each segment has how many skills are. So you got your categories and then your skills in the categories. So the left part is the categories, and the right part is all the skills in that one specific category.
That's a lot of skills.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm uploading a palette cleanser for there you go. to get people's minds off of Demon Mushroom. There you go. Hope you enjoy that. There's Puss in Boots for you. I hope you like that. I shared a cute cat thing. People like those. So okay, that's good. Yeah, everyone probably knows what I've been playing too. I've been playing Borderlands 3.
Of course.
A lot. Borderlands 3 is great. I love Borderlands 3. It's terrific. I'm actually very surprised at how big it is. That actually surprised me. I actually have not completed the game on a single playthrough yet. To give you an idea of the length, I think the level cap is around 50 right now, and not having completed the game in its entirety, I'm already at like level 44. I think in Borderlands 2 I was about level 30, so it gives you an idea, and the leveling system is pretty much the same. They did a lot of really interesting things with it. They really expanded what you can do for your action skills. Some of the characters actually have multiple ones. How you can customize your loadouts. Some of the guns, depending on what, like the different brands, do much different things. They're really much better in terms of like explaining like which ones do which. Some of them, like the Vladoff ones, actually have a secondary barrel that you can switch to at any time. Malawan weapons actually have like two different kinds of like an incendiary or cryo, or like a radiation, and you can switch elemental attacks. They did a lot of really cool things. I just got myself in the game. I got a legendary pistol called the Baby Maker. And in case you're wondering, there was, because a lot of people may know this, is that in Borderlands 2, there was an SMG, and it was called the Baby Maker, and it's done by Tedier. But in this one, it's great, because you throw it out, because it's Tedier, so reloads, you actually chuck the weapon out instead of reloading it. You chuck the weapon out, it sticks to a surface, and then it merves. And when it merves, it turns into 4 baby turrets that then, like, leap at the nearest enemy and explode. And it's amazing. I love it so much. There's some great stuff. They added stuff like crew challenges, so every area you go to, you can kind of like, it asks you to explore more. And there's a lot of really cool things that they do in the game, and I really do recommend it. And a lot of the criticisms that people had about it, I don't understand. To be honest with you, I don't understand. I haven't experienced all that much in terms of frame rate drops. Hasn't happened for me, and I'm using an Xbox S, so don't know what to tell you.
What's the S stand for?
Standard or small? I don't know. It basically says, I'm not an Xbox X. That's what the S stands for. I don't know. And the X is the fancy one that can do 4K graphics. That's the difference, basically.
Fancy.
Yeah. And some people, I told Alex, like, some people complained that, it was too much like Borderlands. I actually think they made a lot of improvements on the formula from Borderlands 2. You can customize your vehicles a lot more than you ever could in the first game. You actually pick up new parts as part of Ellie's little crew. Yeah, it's neat. Like, she kind of goes, oh, wow, there's a tire thrower. And so you pick up the truck, you pick up the technical that has the tire thrower, and you take it to the garage, and then you can outfit the technical with it. I use a Cyclone, which is that one mono wheel thing that they showed in the clips, and you get parts so that you can actually do like an anti-gravity thing, and you can like shift and move around. And there's a Digistruct booster that I got, so you can actually like Digistruct yourself, teleport yourself forward as your thruster instead of your standard thrusting actions. A lot of different customization for those. Yeah, just they added a lot of neat things. Plenty of different planets to explore. Lots of different things to just uncover in the game. So that ended up really good. The other thing, though, that I did play that I was mentioning earlier is, for some reason, I went back and I played my PlayStation 3. Why did I do that? Because my Xbox One day pissed me off by not allowing me to sign into my profile, so I couldn't like play my damn games. And so I was like, so it was like, well, you're not signed into your profile. You need to be signed into a profile to play freaking anything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play my PS3. And so I picked it up, and dusted it off, and remembered that like, oh yeah, that's right. I probably haven't updated. Well, actually, it's always updating because it auto updates. But I actually haven't picked this thing up in like 4 years. So I dusted it off, and I put some games. I played a little Ratchet and Clank, and then I put in New Vegas. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that because then all I wanted to do was just keep playing New Vegas, and I pretty much did right up until Borderlands 3 came. So, mostly, so I could, I played some of the main campaign and, did the Mr. House stuff, or, went to see Caesar and get angry at Caesar and that stuff. But mostly I wanted to go and do the Old World Blues DLC. Which it's the best DLC that they made for a Fallout game, really, and it's terrific. And if anyone goes back to play it, I would definitely recommend that. The other ones are good. Old World Blues is great, and it's really excellently written. The disembodied brains that now have like a floating robotic body, the scientists that actually like are now just like automatons at the think tank are so well written and so hilarious. It's really hard to explain how much so, but you always get this impression that they're just yearning to be human again. There's Dala is always like fascinated with like organics because she doesn't consider herself an organic anymore, and so there's options that you have to like exhale quickly and blink your eyes a few times, and she's like, "Ooh, what are you doing?" And she's just fascinated by it. Dr. Boris is like, sounds like he's a radio announcer the entire time he's talking to you. They're just they're fascinated where they're like, you need to go out and do this stuff because you have those things, those arms and those legs. And yes, go out on your many-penised feet, and because they're like your toes look like penises to them now, and so just go out on your many-penised feet and take care of the evil cyber scorpions for us. And then you go out and you slay, and you go out on, you're just sitting there kind of like, oh, what the hell is going on right now? And then there's robot scorpions that are out there that you have to take care of. And then later you start to realize that they're all on loops to keep them from getting outside of Big Mountain, because if they ever got out, they would bring all of their terrible experiments out to the rest of the wasteland. And that was on purpose. So that's why they ended up calling all the scientists Zero and O and Boris for Ouroboros, Dala for Mandala, all of these things that are supposed to be concentric loops and things like that. And so that whole story is really great because you find out that they're the ones that created Cazadors and Night Stalkers, like the worst things that came out of the Mojave. And they swear the whole time, they're like, no, there's no way that they could possibly get outside our impenetrable barrier that we built. Really? They did. You must be talking crazy, Organic. We would have never been able to allow them out. And there's fun context for all that. And I had forgotten all about it, but I was glad that I was able to relive it for way more hours than I probably should, which is always the case when you start a Fallout game. Then I thought to myself, maybe I'll play a little Fallout 4 again.
And you're
That-
like, nah, just kidding.
No, you know what I did with the Fallout 4? I put in the mods so that I can level real quick because I don't want to deal with that. Just see how fast I can level now. Sorry, you give me a 20x mod, I'm gonna use a 20x mod. Sorry.
You
There.
can download Thomas's Engines now.
Oh, I should have. Yeah, I wish I did that. I don't have Skyrim on my Xbox, so I don't have the mod support for the one that I got it for the last generation. I didn't get the new one. So since it's not the new special, very special edition or whatever it is, I don't have the one that does mod support. If I did, I could put Tom's the Tank Engine into it, I suppose.
Well, I have a computer, so I can do all the mod support I want.
Yeah, yeah, but it's kind of nice when it's actually incorporated into the game. Actually, one of the things I looked at when I booted up Fallout 4, because I haven't really played it in a while, is I wanted to see if a couple of the big mods that they were building for it had come out yet, and they haven't. There was a mod community that was building one called Cascadia, which sounded really interesting, and one that was building something called Miami. Fallout Miami looked really cool.
Okay.
They haven't completed those. But I can almost guarantee you that they're going to be better than 76. So hey, why
There's
not?
I feel like there's a Skyrim mod for Skyrim 76. Someone made.
Oh,
Apparently it's
God.
really, really hilarious.
Yeah, there was like an actual one that large mod communities were working on for Skyrim that was called Tamriel
Not the
Unleashed.
multiplayer one. This one was just
Oh yeah,
ridiculous. I don't remember exactly, but
yeah.
yeah, it's got like all sorts of ridiculous bullshit.
No, the one I was thinking about was that there was actually a large mod community that was working on a series of expansions for Skyrim that was like Tamriel Unleashed or something like that, where they were
Yes.
building all of the other individual areas of Tamriel. And a few of them I think are already out. But they wanted
Probably.
to actually build, and I thought to myself, man, that's a monumental undertaking. Because, Skyrim's pretty big as it stands, but then saying, hey, I'm going to also create Cyrodiil, and I'm going to create, Morrowind and all of those, and put them into the game and have content, that's basically making a whole other game for each region. But the one problem with that is that by the time they finish those, it will probably be so outdated that we'll probably finally have Elder Scrolls 6, or it will still be a screenshot. That's also a possibility.
I need to interrupt. I have to get going.
Oh, sure. That's fine. We're going to be finishing up in a second anyway, but
No worries, DC.
yeah. All right, DC. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. All
yeah.
opinions have been my own and not representative of any company I may work for.
Yes, that is also true. That is also true. So keep that in your hat and think about it.
Yeah.
If you still have the hat on, I saw the
All right,
picture where
see
you
ya.
forgot the hat.
See you, DC.
We'll see ya. Bye. So yeah, that's been the scariest things that we could possibly come up with on this episode.
Yes.
Um,
I'm now playing Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr and trying not to die to a Carnifex. Woohoo!
Oh yeah, you don't want to die to a Carnifex.
These it's you played Star.
What? What do you say?
You played StarCraft, right?
Yeah, I've
You
played
played
StarCraft. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you know the the Zerg.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Zerg.
You know the Ultralisk, the big.
With the tusks.
That's essentially what the Carnifex is. down.
Mm. I'm here.
Hello.
I'm here.
I-
I'm here.
Okay.
I just had to
'cause I heard
reconnect.
someone disconnect. Reconnect.
That was
Assumed
that was
it
me
was-
just making sure that the connection you were cutting out, so I wanted to fix that.
I blame you.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
should.
the Carnifex is the Ultralisk from the Zerg, because
Mm.
back in the day, StarCraft was supposed to be a Warhammer team.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
Did you hear me at all?
I heard part of that. I heard StarCraft, Ultralisk, and Rainbows.
The Ultralisk is the Carnifex, because StarCraft was originally supposed to be a Games Workshop 40K title.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Oh.
They pulled their deal from them, and they still went on and made StarCraft instead. Just
Oh, okay. So that was a Blizzard joint, but only after Games Workshop said no.
I think I don't know the deets, but point is, I'm fighting the Zerg right now.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
and boy, some of these big monsters that they have are freaking,
Mm-hmm.
aka the Carnifex, which is an Ultralisk, which is eats me alive.
Sure thing. Good times.
It's three times. It's three times my size. It's got giant scything blades.
Yeah.
You know,
Good times.
it's like you look tasty.
you
I'm like,
do.
no, I don't actually. Thanks.
Yeah. As you do. That's good. That's good. You should feel very happy about that. That you get to
Sure.
yeah. You beat back the demons, both interior and exterior. You do both of those things.
Yes.
All right. So, programming notes for people who care about that. We have an episode this coming week where we're going to be talking to a little bit more in depth with Mike Myler. And then we are going to have a week where you probably won't see an episode because I am not going to be in the area. I am going to be away. Away. For about a week or so. So that cuts devilishly into my editing ability. But then when we come back, we should have a couple really good episodes for spooky times. One that we've already recorded, and another one that we should be recording a little later in the week. So that's good, and who knows what we will also have for you past that. So look forward to those things. All the things. And we probably won't. Well, we might end up doing something on Halloween. I don't know. Probably not Alex because
No, I'll be at work.
Alex is doing the work thing, so he's not going to be able to do it. But the rest of us might end up doing something Halloween related. I don't really know. If we happen to be there and do something, maybe we will. But hopefully we'll have some fun episodes for you leading up to that. So please enjoy that, and I guess we will see you in November, where hopefully we do not get eaten by a giant turkey.
Or we do. Either way.
Well, one way or another, someone's got to eat.
One way or another, they're gonna find you. They're gonna gobble, 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 gobble.
Yeah. It's going to be the tale of the Waddle Gobbler all over again. I do ask myself if Borderlands is going to do another thing for that, because I know that they're already doing one for, Halloween. They're going to do an event. So I'm going to be interested to see if they do another, if they're just going to do seasonal events throughout this whole time. If so, I'm totally playing it. I'm trying to expedite the level by level series that I'm doing because I realize it's going to take for freaking ever if I do it one level at a time. So, by the way, yeah, those episodes are going to be 5 levels at a time now because otherwise we will never make it through. Now that I realize how big the game is. Yeah, so expect those to come out 5 levels at a time for 3 videos a week until we're done. And so you can look forward to that over on our YouTube channel. And because I'm going to do it, damn it. It's probably a stupid idea in the first place, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I almost have it all done. I just have to actually finish the game. All right. So thank you to James and to DC for joining us on this episode. And for traumatizing us and for us equally traumatizing them. Because, hey, what else are we here for, really? Yeah. And
Traumatization.
Yep. Absolutely. That's like our big thing. We ask everybody who comes on the show and listen to the show, hopefully you walk away a little bit more disturbed than when you started. That's a mission statement that we're making right now, at least for this month. Thank you all for listening. From me and from Alex, from our house to yours on this magical time of year. That's more of a December thing, isn't it? From our house to yours.
A little bit. I mean, no, it's a magical time of year, just not the same type of magic.
Yeah, more the voodoo-ish kind of magic. Like the I'm gonna put a spell on you kind of magic. And not the filled with the holiday spirit kind of magic. Anyway, whatever magic you're experiencing right now, I hope it's okay and you're doing fine and still have full functionality of your own limbs. And we will talk to you.
And both livers.
Oh, and both livers, absolutely. Make sure you have them both, folks. Oh, you only have one?
Because if
wow.
You need to get that looked at.
Yeah, if you only have the one liver, you really need to get that looked at. You should definitely have 2. Definitely. You should have 2. And if you don't have 2, steal one.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Somebody else has a spare. I'm sure they do. Because I've heard that there are people that have 3. Can you imagine?
I once knew a man in 26.
Oh, see, steal it from him. Steal it from him. I would hate to get into a drinking contest with that guy.
I would love to. I'd lose.
You would definitely lose. Man, if you had 26 livers, I don't think you can get drunk. I think... But hey, it doesn't stop us from trying. I would definitely give it a go.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, certainly. Oh, well. We're broken people. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next month on Delve Live. Bye, everyone.
Bye.